This page is a front cover of SEGA Saturn magazine. It is issue number 7 from March 14, 1997. The main feature is New Century Evangelion, with a tagline about the movie release and the game industry. The cover highlights several upcoming games, including Resident Evil 2 for the Saturn, and the announcement of Chunsoft's sound novel game, Machi. The cover art features characters and mecha from what seems to be Evangelion, alongside artwork for other featured games. There's a list of games mentioned as special features, such as Martian successor Nadesico, Galaxy Fraulein Yuna Returns, Sakura Wars, Tokimeki Memorial Tyson Puzzle Dama, Samurai Showdown, and Bushido Blade. Other games teased for coverage include Quo Vadis 2, Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, 2-1, The Blue Destiny, Advanced World War, Senko no Heiki, Classic Road, and J-League Victory Goal 97. It seems to be a packed issue covering a wide range of genres, from action and strategy to sports and adventure games. This page is dedicated to Daytona USA Circuit Edition for the SEGA Saturn. It's heavily promoting the game with a large, prominent logo and mountain backdrop imagery, alongside a car speeding towards the right. The page highlights several key improvements and features for this version. It mentions new courses are added to heat things up, including National Park Speedway and Desert City courses, encouraging players to enjoy even hotter races. There's emphasis on enhanced two-player versus mode, allowing for split-screen battles, and SEGA Saturn Modem X-Band support for online play, with 3 different modes to choose from. Another feature is Ghost Mode, described as being for galleries or Ghost Mode players, letting you race against your best times, with 6 selectable modes. Lastly, it boasts about 8 types of car, where you can hone your driving skills, mentioning driving techniques and techniques for each car type. Essentially, it's showcasing the expanded content and multiplayer options of Daytona USA Circuit Edition. This page continues the focus on Daytona USA Circuit Edition. The advert is shouting, "Back!" and B versus CK, likely stylized text to grab attention for the game's return. It states that a year and a half has passed since the original Daytona USA, and the 300 km/h machines are back and even more powerful. It mentions Daytona USA Circuit Edition is currently on sale and priced at 5,800 yen for the race mode. The page also highlights that the game supports X-Band for online play and versus cable for local multiplayer battles. At the bottom, there's an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn console itself, promoting it as a next-generation console, and mentioning a suggested retail price of 20,000 yen. The page heavily uses racing imagery with a red car speeding against a mountain backdrop, typical of the high-octane action Daytona USA is known for. This page is a stylish advertisement from Konami for something called Konami Day Mode. It features a classic white convertible car, perhaps a Ford Mustang, parked on a road next to some tall grass. A sharply dressed man in a suit and hat stands beside the car, giving off a cool and sophisticated vibe. The text, Konami de Mode, is prominently displayed, suggesting this is some kind of fashion or lifestyle branding associated with Konami. The overall image has a retro feel, with a sunny and relaxed atmosphere. It's a pretty slick-looking advert. The next page presents Konami's SEGA Saturn new software lineup, showcasing a range of titles. At the top, you've got Sexy Parodius, a cheeky shooting game, on sale for 4,800 yen. Next to it is Policenauts, touted as a massive 3 Candelas cinematic adventure, priced at 6,800 yen. Then there's Parodius da Myth from Myth, another hilarious shooter, also at 4,800 yen, emphasizing its dangerous adventure. Moving down, there's Virtual Mahjong 2, highlighted for its smooth gameplay and predictive AI for comfortable matches, costing 5,300 yen. Beside it is Henry Explorers, an action-adventure shooter set to release on March 7th, priced at 5,800 yen. Below those are 2 versions of Tokimeki Memorial, Forever With You. The graphics version is 6,800 yen and includes 12 character cards, while the special version, at 9,800 yen, comes with an original color power memory. Further down are Gradius Deluxe Pack, a shooting game going for 5,800 yen, and Snatcher, described as a cyberpunk adventure, also priced at 5,800 yen. Finally, there are 2 party puzzle sports games, seemingly aimed at younger players, both at 5,800 yen, likely Taisen Puzzle Dama and Panic in Nakayoshi World, judging by the images. This page is packed with a diverse selection of Konami's Saturn offerings, covering genres from shooters and adventures to puzzle and simulation games. This page is an advert for Henry Explorers, an adventure gun shooting game from Konami for both PlayStation and Sega Saturn. The advert features a skull with a blue gem in its eye socket and scattered bones, creating a mysterious and adventurous atmosphere. The tagline asks whether you want to adore death or get treasure. The text describes Henry Explorers as a gun shooting game where you explore ruins, confront monsters, and search for hidden treasures. It emphasizes the intense shooting action with guns like the Hyper Blaster and Virtual Gun, likely a light gun controller, offering a thrilling gameplay experience. It was slated for release on March 7th and priced at 5,800 yen. The bottom of the page includes information about a Konami Big Chance campaign and an advert for the Tokyo Game Show 97. This page is dedicated to Angelique Special 2, billing it as the must-play romance simulation game. The tagline asks if you will live for love or become queen, promising an even more heart-throbbing experience this time around. It highlights that this is the latest installment in the series, focusing on the newly appointed guardian saints and adding fresh characters to enhance the romance. They are also emphasizing deeper gameplay with training and alluring events, making it twice as engaging as before. There is an advertisement for the Angelique Special 2 Premium Box Travel Set, which is described as going on a trip with the Guardian Saints. This premium box includes the game, a tote bag, a sports towel, a mini shikishi board, and a bromide set, all for 9,800 yen, with a release date of April 4th. The standard edition of the game is also advertised at 7,800 yen, with the same release date. The page also lists the cast of characters and their voice actors for Angelique Special 2. There's also a mention of the Angelique Special 2 Suite Guidebook. Moving on from Angelique, there's an advert for Dark Hunter, described as a popular horror adventure game from a famous creator, priced at 6,800 yen, also slated for release on April 4th for both upper and lower volumes. Lastly, there is a mention for game Nippon Shi, Kakume Hen Oda Nobunaga, a history-based strategy game, also priced at 6,800 yen, with a release date of April 4th. This page is all about Puyo Puyo Sun, the latest installment in the popular puzzle series, which is already available on the Sega Saturn. They're highlighting that you can choose from 3 main characters in the story mode, and a whopping 12 characters for versus battles. The big new feature is the Sun Puyo, which lets you turn the tables with cancel and counterattacks. They've also recorded all new voice acting and comedic manzai demos for every single character, and the classic Kotokon Puyo mode is back too. The game is currently on sale for 4,800 yen, and you can even find it at convenience stores like 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Sunkoos, and Circle K. There's also a Puyo Sun campaign where you get a Puyo Puyo watch as a purchase bonus. Finally, they've included details for the Tokyo Game Show 97 Spring, listing the location, dates in April, and ticket prices. The image shows a bunch of the cute and quirky characters that you can expect to see in Puyo Puyo Sun. This page is an advertisement for the 3rd All Japan Puyo Masters Tournament, a massive event taking place on March 30th, 1997, at Makuhari Messe. It's not just one tournament, but a whole series of competitions catering to different groups, including junior and ladies tournaments, as well as categories for older players like Nice Middle and Silver. There's even a cosplay contest and a voice actor audition happening. The main event is the Grandmaster Championship, but they also have team battles and other fun side events, like a Madu Kamaket, which seems to be related to fan-made content. You can also visit a special Puyoman store on site. For those wanting to test their skills, the tournament games will be Puyo Puyo Tsu and the Super Famicom version of Puyo Puyo Sun. The prizes are pretty impressive, with the Grandmaster winning a trip to USA Disney World. Other top prizes include Speaks, disc station sets, and even a MD Walkman. Entry is cheap, with discounts for buying tickets in advance. This looks like a huge celebration for Puyo Puyo fans. This page hypes the Sega Saturn's GameWare label, celebrating its first anniversary with a 2-disc set of content. They're seeking RPG ideas from aspiring developers for the RPG Club. Featured games include Aegiphon, a 2-player hidden character hunt, Bibbit Boy's Great Adventure 4, a 2-player action game with space and surfing themes, and the final part of the Legend of Sabra digital comic, featuring voice actors and ties to Virtua Fighter. The Game Experience Corner features Necronomicon, a digital pinball trial, showcasing other GameWare titles. Additionally, there's Gondola Kun, a two-player minigame promising exciting competition. To mark the anniversary, GameWare is hosting a prize giveaway, with a Peugeot mountain bike as the grand prize for 15 winners, along with other prizes. This page is all about GameWare Volume 4, highlighting its renewal and packed content. It features a variety of games and entertainment. There's the Boys and Girls Collection, which seems to be a collection of images and sounds featuring attractive characters. Then there's Otanoshimi Slot, a metal game where you can win prizes by playing a slot machine. Barbara Konomi's Numerology offers daily fortune-telling. Digital Comic Ojisan continues its comedic series with a new episode. Finally, Zubby's Puzzle Land is a two-player versus puzzle game. There's also a Sankus campaign, where you can win a Sega digital camera or an Albaspoon ingot watch by applying with the included form in GameWare Volume 4. The application deadline is April 7th. The next page features an advertisement for the game The Conveni. It's a convenience store simulation game where you step into the shoes of an owner. You'll manage everything from business strategy to store operations and sales. The goal is to run up to 10 stores and become the top convenience store in a town with a population of 100,000. The game promises a deep simulation experience within an easy and comfortable environment. Key features include managing up to 10 stores simultaneously, a dynamic relationship between chain stores and the town, a wide variety of products available for sale, and the freedom to set your own prices. You'll also handle aspects like stocking, employee management, marketing, and promotional activities. The game is advertised for release in late March and is available for both PlayStation and Sega Saturn. The Convenient simulates convenience store management with realistic elements. Players begin by purchasing land, designing the exterior, and considering sales regulations. Interior design significantly impacts sales, with customizable layouts influencing customer behavior. Business policy includes flexible pricing, promotions, and operating hours, while staff management involves hiring, training, and maintaining employee satisfaction. Market research and sales data analysis are crucial for understanding customer needs and predicting trends. Marketing through ads and investments in the town, schools, parks, attract customers, and improve public safety. Individual customer characteristics, including needs and motivations, influence their purchases. Players can also analyze and acquire rival stores. Events, such as collaborations, add dynamic elements. The game aims for realistic simulation, with visual development ongoing. This page is showcasing the Space Jam game, advertised for both PlayStation and Sega Saturn platforms. It highlights the movie Time, emphasizing the collaboration between Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes. Bugs Bunny is prominently featured alongside Jordan, and you can see the Monstars characters like Pound in the background. The screenshots show in-game basketball action, depicting the cartoon characters in a basketball game setting. It mentions today release and a price of 5,800 yen, suggesting it's a newly released title for both consoles from Acclaim. Essentially, it's promoting the game adaptation of the popular movie, bringing the Looney Tunes basketball chaos to the Sega Saturn and PlayStation. This page is an advertisement for Interwave, which is presented as a Dial Q2 internet provider for Sega Saturn. It's promoting a simple way to get online with your Saturn, emphasizing that there are no initial or monthly fees and no credit card is needed. All you supposedly need is the Saturn itself and a dedicated modem. The connection fee is advertised at 20 yen per minute, with call charges being extra. The page provides a step-by-step guide on how to connect to the internet using Interwave on the Sega Saturn. It starts from turning off your Saturn and inserting a cartridge, to setting up phone line connections and then using a CLEDROM. The guide walks you through on-screen menus, selecting options like operation method and connection procedure, setting up phone line types, choosing a provider, and finally entering the URL http://www.interwave.or.jp/. There are screenshots illustrating each step in the process. The page also includes contact information for Interwave, including their address, phone, and fax numbers for service inquiries and technical support, as well as an email address. It mentions the Dial Q2 charges, and there's an image of a cartoon character who seems to be excited about the internet service. This page is an advertisement announcing the emergency release decision of a super collector's disc for the Sega Saturn, limited to just 30,000 copies. It's for the game Sentimental Graffiti, First Window. This collector's disc is packed with digital goodies, including a digital art museum featuring over 100 illustrations by the artist Tomohisa Kai in high resolution, and a digital setting collection with monochrome character designs for all 12 characters, totaling 240 images. There's also an audition movie, a documentary about the Voice Challenger audition held in January, and message movies from all 12 voice actors to their fans. As a bonus, a premium mini-calendar featuring artwork by Tomohisa Kai is included. The disc was scheduled to be released on March 28th, priced at 2,980 yen. The page also promotes the Sentimental Graffiti world further, with a CD single featuring the theme song Sentimental Love and the song Kumo no Muku, performed by Tears. Finally, it mentions that the TBS Radio Fantasy World Sentimental Night radio program is currently on air and popular. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game, Elf Wokaru Monotachi 2, which translates to Those Who Hunt Elves 2. It's a command selection adventure game, based on the popular manga series of the same name. The game is scheduled for release in April, and will be priced at 7,800 yen for a 2-disc set. The advert highlights that, as a first-time purchase bonus, players will receive a poster and a special CD. It also lists some of the voice actors involved, including Tomokazu Seki, Yuko Miyamura, Michi Tomizawa, and Kotono Mitsuishi. Quite a lineup. The page also mentions that the original manga is serialized in monthly comic Gaio, and is very popular with over 1.2 million copies in circulation. There are also various related media such as video and laserdiscs, novels, and drama crids available. It seems like a multimedia franchise. Interestingly, there's a pre-order campaign where 1,000 lucky people who pre-order the game will receive a cell picture as a prize. The advert also includes application details for this campaign. The game is published by Ultron. Overall, it's a pretty standard game advertisement, hyping up the release and pre-order bonuses for fans of the Those Who Hunt Elves series. This page is an advert for Yoyogi Animation Academy, focusing on aspiring artists. It's all about your art aspiration, as the big headline says, and features a cool, futuristic, robot-looking image that fits the theme. They're boasting a super high job placement rate of over 98%, which is pretty impressive. They're advertising a bunch of courses, highlighting some new ones like game designer and game sound director courses. They also have courses for CG animation and game creation, plus a whole range of animation-related studies like animator, multimedia creator, digital paint artist, anime production, background design, and even anime AV operator. It seems like they cover everything from traditional animation to modern digital art and game design. The advert emphasizes you can get officially recognized qualifications naturally through their programs. They also mention 24-hour support, health and counseling services, and support for finding accommodation. There's even a special student system and support for overseas students. Interestingly, they are promoting a free audition for voice actors and talent scouting, which is a cool opportunity if you're interested in voice acting. They also offer a free computer aptitude diagnosis called Charisma Map to assess your artistic suitability, which seems like a unique feature. If you're interested, they have phone and fax numbers, a website, email, and address listed to contact them. This page is the cover of SEGA Magazine, and it's themed around St. Valentine's Day. It's advertising the March issue, which is already on sale. The cover highlights features on Virtua Striker 2 and Scud Race, specifically mentioning a communication battle version for Scud Race. There's also a special feature on Sega's ATP attractions, offering a complete guide. Inside, you'll find a big introduction to Neon Genesis Evangelion goods. There's a special interview with Suzuki Yu and Ikebe Saro, and a new serialization called Women's Workshop. The cover art features 2 anime-style angel characters. This page is dedicated to the SEGA Saturn game Kakyusei, published by Elf. The big red kanji leaves no doubt about the title. Kokoro no tokimeki wo anata ni translates to heart-throbbing excitement for you, so you know you're in for some romance. Kakyusei means underclassmen, so it's definitely giving off those dating sim vibes that were pretty popular on the Saturn. This looks like a full-page ad for it in the magazine. This page is a full-page image, likely continuing the theme of the previous page, focusing on the dating sim game Kakyusei. At the top left, you can see the text Tsutetai, which means I want to tell you. It features a large illustration of an anime-style girl with purple hair in a school uniform holding a briefcase, positioned next to a vibrant tree with pink and purple leaves. The background shows a sunset sky, creating a romantic or sentimental mood. In the bottom right corner, there's a yellow box with Japanese text, indicating an age rating of 18 and over. It looks like a promotional page for Kakyusei, emphasizing the romantic and mature themes of the game. This page is dedicated to Sakura Wars merchandise, specifically 2 companion books. The first book is the Sakura Wars Original Pictures and Setting Materials Collections. It's highlighted as a comprehensive collection of Sakura Wars artwork and background information, covering everything from the Imperial Assault Force and Black Demon Society mecha designs to unpublished setting materials and related goods. It even includes interviews with staff and details on characters' kimono and yukata sets. This book promises a wealth of content for Sakura Wars fans, including large posters and Flower Troop costume design drawings. The second book advertised is the Sakura Wars Attack Secret File, described as a SEGA Saturn Magazine Photochromadrom Maniac Collection Volume 1. This book is presented as a collection of materials that couldn't fit into the game itself, featuring a large volume of character and mecha settings and CG artwork, all on Chromadrom. Both books seem to be aimed at hardcore Sakura Wars fans looking for deeper insights and visual materials related to the game. The prices are listed as 1,480 yen for the secret file and 2,000 yen for the setting materials book, both available for Sega Saturn and Windows. The page emphasizes that these books are big hits and selling well. This page showcases a variety of strategy guides and art books published by SoftBank for Sega Saturn games. First up is the official guide for Fighters Megamix, promising a complete walkthrough for the crossover fighting game, covering all characters including hidden ones and special techniques. It's described as the definitive Sega official strategy guide. Next is the Virtua On Perfect guide for Cyber Troopers Virtual-On, aimed at helping players achieve general rank and master all aspects of the game, including weapons and techniques, even covering the X-Band network version. Then there's the Eve Burst Error, Original Picture and Setting Material Collection. This book seems to be a deep dive into the popular adventure game Eve Burst Error, featuring original artwork, setting materials, staff interviews, and explanations of in-game terminology. Following that is the Kyan Kyan Bunny Premieres 2 Strategy and Setting Material Collection, covering both the Windows and Sega Saturn versions of the game. It promises complete strategy and full graphic coverage, along with related goods information. The page also advertises the Scud Race Official Guide Volume 1 for the racing game Scud Race, edited by AM2 Research Team and boasting newly drawn CG illustrations. Finally, a section lists other currently available and well-received SoftBank strategy guides, including Riglord Saga 2, Virtua Cop 2 Killer Manual, Battle Athletes Daiundukai Perfect Guide, Master of Monsters Official Guide, Fighting Vipers Perfect Guide, and Street Fighter Alpha 2 Perfect Guide. This page is the contents page for this issue of Sega Saturn Magazine from March 14, 1997. It outlines the featured articles within. Page 36 is a special report covering a range of games including Martian successor Nadesico asking if love will win in the end, Galaxy Fraulein Yuna 3, Lightning Angel, Sakura Wars Hanagumi Columns, Tokimeki Memorial Puzzle Dama, The Samurai Showdown RPG, Great Naval Battles 2, Manx TT Superbike, and Sky Target. Page 38 is marked as Urgent News, announcing the decision to release Resident Evil 2 on the Saturn. Page 61 is a feature titled, Talk About Neon Genesis Evangelion, discussing the Evangelion phenomenon in the games industry alongside the upcoming movie release, and it also includes a rare merchandise guide. Page 89 features a special on game schools for Spring '97. Lastly, page 105 is a special project, a dialogue between Sega AM2's Yu Suzuki and Kenji Ino. The page also has a large image of a 3D female character, possibly related to one of the games mentioned within. This Sega Saturn Games page showcases both new releases and upcoming titles. New releases include games like Top Anglers, Magical Drop 3, and Criticom. Anticipated coming soon soft titles are numerous, featuring Quo Vadis 2, Einhander, and Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, The Blue Destiny. The page also promotes a Sega Saturn Soft Complete Guide with tips for games like Enemy Zero AM3 Research's Cybertroopers Virtual on X-Over, tentative, is teased, alongside updates on AM1 Research's House of the Dead and AM2 Research's Scud Race. A comprehensive game index lists many games covered with page numbers, including Advanced World War, Saturn Bomberman Fight, and Critical Combat. Finally, Landmark News and Information details regular features such as news, polls, and release schedules. This page is all about the upcoming Sega Saturn game, Mobile Suit Z Gundam Part 1, Z's Pulse. It's being touted as the first time the Z Gundam story is coming to Sega Saturn. The game promises to faithfully recreate the anime series with classic Saturn-style shooting action and animation, featuring the transformable mobile suits from the show. This first installment will cover the initial episodes of the Z Gundam TV series, specifically episodes 1 through 26. It's set to be released on March 28, 1997, and will cost 6,800 yen before tax. There's also a special promotion mentioned. 300 lucky buyers will receive original animation cells used in the game, which sounds like a real treat for Gundam fans. This page is dedicated to Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 2-1, To the End of Judgment for the Sega Saturn. It's advertised as the grand finale of the Gundam Side Story trilogy, bringing the entire series to a conclusion. The text emphasizes it as a 3D shooting game experience set within the Gundam universe. You can see a dynamic image featuring 2 mobile suits locked in combat. The game was released on March 7, 1997, and retailed for 4,800 yen. The original mechanical designs are by Kunio Okawara, and Sunrise oversaw the scenario. There's also a special campaign for fans who purchased all 3 games in the Side Story series. Prizes included a Blue Destiny original garage kit for 100 lucky people, a set of 3 special phone cards for 300 people, and a Zeon Army leather patch for 1,000 people. The page also mentions the previous 2 games in the series, Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, The Blue Destiny Volume 1, and Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, The Blue Destiny Volume 2, both of which were already available and well received at the time of this advert. Volume 3, To the End of Judgment, is presented as the concluding chapter. Chunsoft is entering the Sega Saturn market with their first game, Machi, a sound novel, set to release this summer. Known for titles on Nintendo consoles, this marks a significant move, highly anticipated by Sega Saturn users. Machi, the third in their sound novel series, places players in Shibuya, tasked with catching a bomber. Gameplay involves making choices to advance the story, a staple of the genre, and will be on 2 Candela's rooms. The announcement also features a contest for Maki, inviting submissions for extra actors, inspired by Sega's Print Club Idols photos. The deadline for submissions is the end of May, with approximately 100 extras to be selected from a total of around 400. The page also lists other Chunsoft games like Torneko no Daibuken, Mystery Dungeon, Otogiriso, and Kamaitachi no Yoru for Super Famicom, and Fushigi no Dungeon 2, Furai no Shiren, Shiren the Wanderer. The page also mentions Chibi Maruko-chan, Ukiuki Pareto Town, on Cardrum for PC. This page highlights several events and releases. The Virtua Fighter 3 Japan's #1 decision tournament took place in Tokyo, featuring various age/gender classes. Also announced is a 3-on-3 team tournament, Sega Team Battle VF3 Strongest Battle, with preliminary rounds in March. The AOU show in Makuhari Messe showcased new arcade games, including Sega's Virtua Striker 2 and Capcom's Cruisin' World. A novelization of Underclassmen Graduation will be released in April with a launch event. The Motorcycle Japan Festa 97 in April at Tokyo Big Sight will feature the Sega Saturn, with 20 readers being invited. Finally, several music creeds are advertised, including Great Spirit Nakahara Tuoru, Monthly Tokimeki Memorial No. 8, Street Fighter X Arranged Soundtracks, and Luna Songs 2. This page profiles Fumika Suzuki and her debut voice acting role in the Saturn version of Phantasmagoria, Afureko. Suzuki expresses initial nervousness during recording, particularly with dialogueless scenes, finding emotional expression through shouts easier. She has become interested in the game, believing it appeals to all ages and genders, highlighting its thrilling escape scenarios. Suzuki views her character, Edie Rignan, as brave and self-exploring, while acknowledging a relatable desire to escape difficulties. She anticipates players will enjoy the game's suspense. The profile also includes Suzuki's birth date, October 11, 1974, and background as a race queen and idol. Phantasmagoria, a full-motion video horror adventure, is set in a New England mansion and features beautiful graphics and immersive sound. This page reveals the top 15 best-selling Sega Saturn games in Japan for a particular week. At number 1 is Puyo Puyo Sun, described as a popular puzzle game available even in convenience stores, encouraging quick purchases before it sells out. Second place is Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, a highly anticipated title, with many stores sold out on release day, satisfying dedicated fans, and likely attracting newcomers. Neon Genesis Evangelion New Package is in third place, noting its trading card inclusion and reduced price, making it an attractive purchase for those who missed the original release. Further down the list we have Roommate, an etc. genre title about simulating cohabitation with girls, and even Burst Error, a special price memory version adventure game. Other notable titles in the chart include Daytona USA Circuit Edition, Dynamite Deca, Die Hard Arcade, Tomb Raider, Fighters Megamix, and Enemy Zero. The page provides sales data for each game, including weekly and cumulative sales figures, and short reviewer comments on the games. It's a snapshot of what was popular with Saturn gamers at the time, showcasing a mix of genres, from puzzle and adventure to racing and action titles. This page showcases two distinct top games charts from user data and arcade shop data. The user data top 20 chart reflects games that Saturn owners are hoping will be ported to the system. At the top are massive titles like the Final Fantasy series and Dragon Quest series, followed by Super Robot Wars. There's a lot of buzz about Chunsoft's sound novel Machi coming to Saturn, and excitement for more game announcements, including possibly Resident Evil 2. Intriguingly, a graphic shows Resident Evil 2 with completion 0% and realization 30%, hinting at the uncertain status of a Saturn port. The shop data top 15 chart lists the most popular arcade video games. Virtua Fighter 3 takes the top spot, with other popular arcade titles like Virtual On, Real Bout Fatal Fury Special, and Street Fighter X also ranking high. Featured in the 1 Point Check Game section is Vampire Savior, which is coming soon. Screenshots on the page highlight Street Fighter X and Scud Race. It's clear that both home console ports and the arcade scene are hot topics in this magazine issue. This page dives into the most anticipated Sega Saturn titles according to user data, revealing the top 3 as Grandia in first place, followed by Virtua Fighter 3, and Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression at number 3. Grandia is causing a stir, showcased at game shows, while Virtua Fighter 3 is only 10% complete, with more info coming this summer. Evangelion Second Impression is hyped as 100% complete, and promises a new episode for fans. Below the top 3, there's a ranked list from 4th to 30th place, with games like Tantei Jinguji Saburo, Early Collection, Biohazard, Resident Evil, Sakura Wars, Martian Successor Nadesico, The Motion Picture, Prince of Darkness, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and Geisha Faya 2023, Graduation 2023. It seems to be a mix of genres and franchises gamers are looking forward to on Saturn. In the Pickup Check Game section we have J-League Victory Goal 97, ranked at 41 stone, boasting 100% completion, and another title Anarchy in the Nippon at 47th, a fighting game that's 25% complete. Other Check, coming soon, highlights Desamoron 2 and Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series, Volume 1 Rainbow Color of Metals. Desamoron 2 is described as an interesting new creation, and Tokimeki Memorial is introducing a new character and story. This page reveals the Sega Saturn Reader's race rankings for Volume 42. It's all about what games Saturn fans are most excited about. At the top of the Oops table, Saturn A for February 21st, Sakura Wars reigns supreme at number 1, followed by Virtua Fighter 2 and Eve Burst Error in 2nd and 3rd place respectively. Nights into Dreams, Fighters, Megamix, and Panzer Dragoon Zwei are also high up in the top 10. The page details how these rankings are compiled, based on reader votes and averaged scores. It's interesting to see games like Policenauts, Idol Janshi Tsuchipai 2, and Layer Section also making the top 10, showcasing a diverse taste among Saturn owners. Scrolling down the list, we see titles like Sega Rally Championship, Street Fighter Alpha 2, and even more niche titles like Advanced World War, Winds of Steel, and Princess Crown. There's a section screaming, "Too Big Shock!" highlighting two games, Fist, Mix, and Des Crimson Demon King Hometown. The writer is clearly hyped, calling Des Crimson Demon King Hometown the undefeated strongest Demon King, and expressing surprise at Fist, Mix. It looks like these might be the games to watch out for based on reader feedback. Oops Table Saturn B continues the SEGA Saturn readers race, highlighting popular games. New game spotlights include the praised Shooter, Terra Diver, and the visually underwhelming Gege no Kitaro, Gentu Kaikitan. Ultraman, Legend of Light Giants receives mixed reviews, while Street Racer Extra is noted for graphical improvements but dated gameplay. The new super noteworthy attention game introduction showcases Fist, a polygon fighting game with voice commands that's criticized for poor quality. Chaos Controller Remix, however, receives positive attention for its graphical improvements and addictive gameplay, despite some rough edges. The main Oops Table Saturn B section then presents a massive list of reader-ranked games, showcasing a wide variety of titles popular among Saturn owners. This page is still part of the SEGA Saturn Readers Race Rankings. Now on to Oops Table Saturn C. The new super noteworthy attention game introduction section focuses on Virtual Cop. It's Volume 7 of this Spotlight series, written by Tetsu. The review mentions it was released in spring '94 for arcades as a polygon gun shooting game on the Model 2 board and ported to Saturn in late '95. They highlight the smooth character animation and the thrill of blowing away enemies with realistic reactions, noting it feels like a movie. The article asks, 1 and 2, which is stronger? Likely comparing Virtual Cop 1 and Virtual Cop 2, discussing the merits of both, and concluding both are high-quality titles. The technique number is also hot. Section probably talks about gameplay techniques, mentioning things like standard aiming mode, advanced aiming mode, and arcade mode. Reader comments mention the simple but deep gameplay, the excitement building up, and the quality of the game. Developer staff recommendations echo this, saying Virtual Cop is obviously fun, simple to play, and enjoyable for everyone. The page also features a continuation of the reader-ranked games in Oops Table Saturn C, listing many Saturn titles across various genres with their scores and categories. The Oops Table Saturn C presents SEGA Saturn game rankings and reader opinions. Upcoming highlights include Sakura Wars 2. Readers discuss favorite games like Des Crimson, Eve, and Daytona USA Circuit Edition. The table lists games across various genres with their rankings and expected odds, offering a snapshot of the Saturn's popularity. The next issue promises game news, hinting at reader-influenced features. Readers are encouraged to participate in the SEGA Saturn Readers Race by submitting game predictions for prizes, including memory cards and joysticks. The peripherals section lists Saturn accessories and their prices. The issue also includes fun prediction contests, with a wearing expected game underwear chance, and a Dream Theater section for anticipated games and prizes. This page is all about a Martian successor Nadesico's game guide, focusing on romance strategies within the game. It's titled, Target Characters, Get Them Solidly, No More Hesitation Love How To, offering a short-term, concentrated, Nadesico flowing love lecture. The article talks about how, despite the series seemingly focusing on serious mecha battles, love always wins in the end. It suggests players aim to get close to their favorite Nadesico girls. It humorously asks, how do you get into a good relationship with that girl you're interested in? And promises to teach 3 key points for capturing a girl's heart. Step 1 of the guide is, first, appeal your existence to her. It advises players to actively talk to girls, move beyond just being acquaintances, and make the first move. A system pickup section highlights the importance of affection and goodwill in understanding a girl's feelings. A relationship chart shows how the player character Akito's feelings and goodwill can influence the female crew member's affections, suggesting a dynamic relationship system. The guide emphasizes that in the game, characters' feelings and goodwill are visually represented, making it easier to understand relationship statuses. It advises players to check this to grasp the female crew's condition and aim to turn goodwill into love. Game screenshots and character portraits of Eureka, Hikaru, Izumi, and others are featured throughout the page, illustrating the game's romantic elements. The Martian successor Nadesico Romance Guide emphasizes a balanced approach to building relationships. Step 2 advises against tunnel vision, highlighting the importance of interacting with all crew members, not just your favorite girl, to avoid issues and gather information. Spending time with Ruri, for example, is suggested to understand potential hidden emotional states. Step 3 focuses on deepening relationships through virtual room dates, which become available as affection grows. While relentlessly pursuing a single girl might initially seem effective, the guide cautions against being too forceful. Instead, it promotes regular conversations to gain insights and avoid pitfalls. The virtual rooms, designed to relieve stress and analyze brainwaves, offer various scenarios, from everyday situations to more intimate settings, ultimately deepening bonds and revealing true feelings. The core message: understanding everyone's feelings and maintaining balance is crucial for success. This page is a report on the Biohazard 2 announcement press conference. It seems like they are really excited about the Saturn version of Biohazard 2, or as we know it internationally, Resident Evil 2. The article mentions that the press conference was held on February 17th and describes it as a major announcement event for the Biohazard strategy. The article talks about the success of the PlayStation version of the first Biohazard game, noting its popularity with female players and strong sales. It mentions that Mr. Kashiwazaki from the sales department and Mr. Okamoto from the development department, along with producer Mr. Mikami, were present at the conference. They announced plans to release both the PlayStation and Saturn versions of Resident Evil 2 around the same time in winter. They also mentioned that Resident Evil 2 is being designed to smoothly connect to the storyline of the first game. The producer, Mr. Mikami, is quoted saying that they are aiming for a winter release, but want to ensure the quality is high enough to meet user expectations, even if it means delaying it. They also hinted that in Resident Evil 2, unlike the first game, the protagonist will be a man and a woman. This page continues the coverage of the Resident Evil 2 announcement, and it's really exciting as it reveals screenshots from the Saturn version of the game. The headlines are screaming, "Development started! Scene photos revealed! Stage edition decided!" which really builds the hype. Looking at the screenshots, we can clearly see scenes from Resident Evil 2 in development for the Saturn. The top image shows what looks like Leon and Claire in the Raccoon City Police Department's main hall. That iconic, ballroom-like area. Another screenshot shows a character facing off against a zombie dog in a corridor, and the last one shows Leon and Claire again in what appears to be a hallway, possibly inside the police station or another location in the game. Below the screenshots, the text proudly declares, "This is Saturn version screenshots." It goes on to give details for both Biohazard and Biohazard 2, which we know as Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2. For Resident Evil, it mentions Capcom, a summer release window, a price of 5,800 yen, and the genre survival horror. For Resident Evil 2, it again mentions Capcom and the genre survival horror, but the release date and price are still to be determined. It's great to see Capcom really pushing the Saturn versions of these massive titles. This page is an announcement for Galaxy Fraulein Yuna 3, subtitled Lightning Angel. It's showcasing the new chibi character patterns in the game. The article mentions that development is progressing well, with about 30% completion. It introduces the adorable chibi characters and Yuna's companions appearing in 3. The article highlights Yuna's movements, showing how the character moves and behaves in the game. It seems the game uses a tactical adventure system and features 2 types of Yuna characters, standard and chibi, that will appear on screen. There's a focus on detailed movements expressing each character's personality. The bottom of the page shows screenshots of the chibi Yuna in gameplay, including normal attacks and special attacks. It mentions that chibi characters are used in battle scenes, and a blue glowing attack pattern is described as possibly being a heart-pounding attack. The screenshots also show an overhead view of a town, indicating the game's perspective. This page offers a glimpse into Galaxy Fraulein Yuna 3, Lightning Angel, detailing key characters and featuring a director interview. The game introduces 6 main characters, including Mai Tokudaiji, Erika Kusaka, Silver Princess Miki, Mimi Shiratori, Shiori Jinguji, Kurenai Reina, and Yuri Cube, each with distinct personalities. Also mentioned is Leah Valtin von Einstein from a previous installment. Director Tadashi Kosaki discusses the game's development, currently at 30% completion. The gameplay combines adventure elements with chibi character interactions and simulation battles, Player choices impact the story and team dynamics. Battles involve strategic elements beyond just defeating enemies. The game emphasizes replayability through character growth and varied outcomes based on player choices. Finally, the page promotes related media, like creds and videos, encouraging fans to experience the franchise before the game's release. This page is all about Sakura Wars columns, and it's finally giving us a good look at the versus battle mechanics, specifically focusing on attack and defense, which they say mirrors the main story mode. It's being called a dramatic puzzle game, and it's slated for release on March 28th at 5,800 yen. Good news for those who like to play with friends, it's got two-player mode. They're teasing a Cinderella mode too, but details are still under wraps. The article mentions getting all the info straight from screenshots and developer interviews, and they even suggest players should start mentally training for it. Looking at the screenshots, it seems like a puzzle game, with Sakura Wars characters battling it out. The next page dives deeper into the core gameplay of Sakura Wars columns, specifically how the spirit level system dictates the flow of versus battles. As you clear gems, you build up spirit points, which increase your spirit level. Reaching different levels unlocks actions during your turn. At level 1, you can choose to attack, defend, or charge. Level 3 grants access to powerful magic stones. Let's break down the actions. Attack is all about offense. By selecting it, you send time bomb gems to your opponent's playfield. The number, placement, and duration of these gems are influenced by your spirit level and chosen character. Defense lets you focus on clearing gems on your own field to mitigate attacks. Again, level and character impact how much you can clear and your defensive strength. The page highlights magic stones as a game changer unlocked at spirit level 3. These are powerful items that clear all gems of the color directly beneath them, offering a strategic advantage. Finally, it details how time bomb gems work. These gems have a countdown timer, visually represented by eyes. You can clear them by matching adjacent gems, or they'll eventually explode at 0, turning into normal gems. Cleverly managing these time bombs seems key to mastering the versus mode and gaining an edge over your opponent. Sakura Wars Columns Adventure Mode blends puzzle battles with character-specific scenarios. Players experience adventure game elements within the column's gameplay. 2 examples are shown. Sakura's story involves a secret date, requiring players to evade the flower division to see fireworks. This presents a comedic, tense situation. Kana's story shows her engrossed in research at the library, with the player aiding her pursuit of knowledge. Development director Ito Hirotaka aimed to merge columns mechanics with the Sakura Wars world. He incorporated elements like the lip system and spirit level to stay true to the Sakura Wars experience, aiming to appeal to fans of both franchises. The development team is pleased with the game's reception. This page appears to be detailing the story mode in Sakura Wars columns. It outlines the flow of gameplay, which starts with selecting a partner from the flower division members. The story mode then begins, and your trust with the chosen character changes based on your choices made through the Lips dialogue system, similar to the main Sakura Wars games. The page highlights a Let's Columns section, showcasing the puzzle gameplay. It mentions Versus mode, where you defeat enemies, and a puzzle mode focused on clearing set challenges within a time limit to improve trust. The gameplay progresses by engaging in columns, battles, with the story unfolding as you play and win. The overall loop is described as repeating steps 3 through 5, implying an iterative process of dialogue, puzzle battles, and story advancement. This page is all about Tokimeki Memorial Puzzle Dama, announced as a home console version of the popular arcade game Totsuke Dama, with a Tokimeki Memorial theme. Konami is developing this competitive puzzle game, aiming for a summer release. It's currently about 20% complete, with pricing yet to be determined. It will support 2-player battles and is aimed at all ages. The page describes the gameplay as a falling block puzzle, similar to games like Puyo Puyo, but with a unique Totsuke, or exchange mechanic. There are single-player and 2-player versus modes selectable. You can even set the number of rounds you want to play, with a 3-point lead-to-win option. The screenshots show gameplay with Tokimeki Memorial characters in summer outfits, battling it out in the puzzle game. The page also mentions the game system is quite similar to the original Totsuke Dama arcade game. The next page details the 3 main play modes in Tokimeki Memorial Puzzle Dama. First is Tokimeki mode, which is like a story mode where you play as a student from Kirameki High School, one of 11 playable characters, in an original scenario. This mode is designed for single players and promises enhanced graphics and voices compared to the arcade version, aiming for a content-rich consumer machine experience. Next is Kirameki mode, which is based on the arcade Totsukai Dama and is described as an arcade-style versus and swap mode. Details are still limited, but it's expected to be rich in content, possibly with Saturn-exclusive elements. Finally, Hirameki mode challenges players to clear stages by fulfilling specific conditions with a limited number of moves, such as clearing 3 consecutive chains or 6 simultaneous pieces. This mode seems focused on puzzle solving and strategy. The page also mentions Omake, or extra elements, suggesting there will be memory album features and other enjoyable extras. Additionally, there are Kugeki Dama, or attack patterns, that have been increased from the arcade version, promising more variety in gameplay. The reviewer seems excited about the different modes and extra features being added to the Saturn version. This page focuses on Samurai Showdown Warrior's Rage, an RPG installment in the popular Samurai Showdown series for the Sega Saturn. It highlights key gameplay mechanics and the game's aesthetic. The main feature spotlighted is the slash command, described as a core combat action, frequently used and considered highly effective. It's explained as a basic attack that relies on weapon skills and precise player input, forming the foundation of combat in this RPG. The page proudly boasts beautiful Japanese-style graphics, emphasizing the game's commitment to creating detailed and historically inspired environments. Screenshots showcase various locations, such as Edo Minamimachi, Fujitree Sea, a Tokai map area, checkpoints, Anjo Village, and even within Mount Fuji. These locations aim to immerse players in a rich, period-authentic world. Another section, check out what you're interested in, seems to delve into finer gameplay details. Screenshots hint at a timer-based gauge during battles and strategic elements. It suggests mastering the slash command is vital for success and that timing is crucial in combat situations. Samurai Showdown Warrior's Rage is presented as a visually appealing RPG scheduled for release on April 25th at a price of 6,800 yen, promising strategic combat and a deep dive into Japanese historical settings. This page delves deeper into the start events for the main characters in Samurai Showdown Warrior's Rage. It highlights that each of the 6 main characters has their own unique start event, acting as a prologue and reason for their journey into the wider conflict. The page specifically details the start events for Haomaru and Kyugoku Hinata. For Haomaru, his event is titled Haomaru's Start Event. It seems to begin with his disciple, Jushiro, acting strangely. The screenshots show dialogue between Haomaru and Jushiro, and then a battle scene. The text suggests Jushiro feels threatened by Haomaru's strength, and a confrontation ensues, leading Haomaru to leave and embark on his journey. It mentions he chases after the mysterious Heaven Grass incident as his starting point. For Kyugoku Hinata, her start event is called Kyugoku Hinata's Start Event. Her story revolves around seeking the ultimate flower to cure her ill mother, Kojima Uda. She consults with an elderly scholar in Musashi Province who directs her to search for magic flowers and mentions a connection to Edo's 10 warriors. The screenshots show Hinata interacting with her mother and the scholar and suggest her journey begins as she seeks these mythical flowers. Essentially, this page gives us a glimpse into the individual storylines that kick off each character's adventure in Samurai Showdown Warrior's Rage, showing how they become entangled in the game's larger narrative. This page is all about the strategy game, Pacific Storm 2, Gale Encounter. It's being touted as a deep and engaging simulation game that lets you experience realistic battles where resource management is crucial, from procuring food for soldiers to building weapons and securing fuel. The game emphasizes strategic decision-making, focusing on the bigger picture of war rather than just individual battles. There's a highlighted section showcasing the rich scenarios available, like Grand Campaign, Box Formation, Absolute National Defense, Imperial Capital Air Defense, Northern Counterattack Operation, Chengyuan 1946, Imperial Capital Collapse Point, and Coronet Operation. These scenarios offer diverse gameplay experiences. The page also mentions special bonuses for the initial limited edition, including a Restoration Edition Soldier Handbook. This bonus aims to enhance the player's immersion and get them in the mood for battle. It also suggests that short scenarios, separate from the main game, are available, allowing for quick sessions of alternate history gameplay. Finally, the page includes a section titled Enjoying Alternate History, featuring a photo of a smiling man, likely involved in the game's development or promotion, emphasizing the game's appeal in letting players explore and enjoy fictional historical scenarios. The screenshots show in-game interfaces with detailed unit stats, highlighting the game's depth in military simulation and strategic elements across land, sea, and air. This page is a U.S.-Japan Arms Data Battle feature showcasing detailed information about various military vehicles and ships from World War II, presented in a style reminiscent of a game data book. It highlights the battleship Yamato, comparing its specs and features, and mentions a 3D movie and Moving Arms Illustrated Encyclopedia available with this issue, suggesting interactive elements. Other featured vehicles include the battleship South Dakota, the aircraft carrier Yorktown, the submarine I-19, the Type 1 ground attack aircraft, the SBD Dauntless dive bomber, and the M4 Sherman tank. Each section provides specifications and descriptions, likely contrasting the strengths and weaknesses of Japanese and American military hardware from the era. It's less about specific games, and more about providing historical military hardware data and comparisons in a game magazine format. The SEGA Saturn version of Manx TT Superbike is complete, featuring an exclusive Saturn mode. This mode expands on the arcade version with mirrored courses and 2 new tracks, Practice and Challenge. Practice mode offers free running for honing skills, while Challenge mode presents a sequential race with potential gameplay variations. Saturn mode supports up to 8 bikes and allows players to choose their machine. Detailed record displays with sector times are a key feature, enabling players to analyze their performance and compete for top rankings, similar to Daytona. The game introduces 8 different bikes, each with unique characteristics. Bikes range from beginner-friendly options with good handling to advanced models with high speeds and challenging handling, encouraging players to experiment and find the best fit for their racing style. Manx TT Superbikes on SEGA Saturn features 4 courses: Laxi Coast, TT Course, and mirrored versions of each. Laxi Coast offers an arcade feel with smooth graphics and a great sense of speed. The TT Course provides a realistic experience with detailed scenery. The mirrored courses offer fresh challenges. Laxi Coast Reverse Mirrored reverses the familiar track, while TT Course Reverse Mirrored is surprisingly difficult. The game also includes a time trial mode with ghost data for improvement and a 2-player split-screen versus mode, allowing for competitive racing. While the split screen reduces the viewing area, gameplay remains enjoyable. This page showcases the SEGA Saturn game Sky Target, a 3D shooting game that supports multi-controllers. It's promoting the stage layouts of the game. You get to select your wing from 4 aircraft: the F-16C, F-14D, F-15's MTD, and Rafaela M. The game uses Vulcan cannons and missiles as weapons, and the movement speed varies depending on the selected aircraft. The page highlights 2 missions. Mission 1, Target, takes place from the sea to land, attacking enemy bases, suggested as a perfect starting stage for beginners. Mission 2, Target, is set in a white cloud-filled sky, focusing on intense dogfights against enemy planes, emphasizing avoiding enemy attacks and missile barrages. Enemy aircraft are introduced, including the battle-armed bomber Halbert, combat weapon attack aircraft Bingo, and various other enemy types with unique names like Baruto, Talwar, and an all-wing type, Bomber. The game seems to feature diverse stages and enemies, promising fast-paced action across 12 missions in various environments like skies, jungles, and cityscapes. It encourages players to progress to the next stage after completing Mission 2, hinting at branching paths. The SEGA Saturn is receiving a wave of new and upcoming titles. New releases include diverse genres like Mahjong Love Shamasho, 4x4 Racer Deca 4WD, fishing game Top Anglers, puzzle game Magical Drop 2 Eyes, and the quirky Kamome Kacho. Other new titles are Harukaze Sentai vs. Force, the radio drama Night Ruth, fighting game Criticom, practical pachinko winning strategy Twin, and Monster Slider. Coming soon, in spring, are strategy games Quo Vadis 2 and Advanced World War. Gundam titles Mobile Suit Gundam Gaiden 2i and Mobile Suit Z Gundam Part 1. horse racing with Yushun Classic Road, soccer game J-League Victory Goal 97, mech action game Assault Suits Lanos 2, and RPGs Dragon Master Silk, Ina's Fantasy Stories, and Ebarouge. Also coming are Ochige Designer, Game Tengoku, and action title Tokyo Shadow. The page is highlighted by a mecha illustration. This page features 2 new SEGA Saturn titles. The top half of the page is dedicated to the mahjong dating sim game Koi Jan Shimasho, with 2 versions mentioned, Remix and Special. The reviewer notes it's based on a popular arcade mahjong game, combined with dating sim elements. Remix is described as a revival of Vi's Kiss idol units, where players aim to win mahjong tournaments with idols and enjoy water-based endings on a southern island. Special features high school girls as opponents in flower card games, with new scenarios and event scenes. The game emphasizes cute character reactions and light-hearted gameplay. The bottom half of the page introduces Deca 4, WD Tough the Truck, a 4x4 racing game. It's described as a thrilling off-road racer, with tough courses and powerful 4WD vehicles. The reviewer highlights the realistic driving feel, tire grip, suspension, and the excitement of crashes and jumps. The game offers various modes including single races, championships, and time attack, with diverse courses and weather conditions. The reviewer emphasizes the challenging courses and the fun of overtaking rivals, recommending it for its exhilarating off-road racing experience. 2 SEGA Saturn games are highlighted. Top Anglers is a polygon-based fishing simulation featuring free fishing and Grand Prix modes for up to 4 players. Players can customize gear, locations, and times for a realistic experience, enjoying diverse modes and beautiful environments. Magical Drop 2 is increased and enhanced, nearing completion, is the 3rd installment of the puzzle series. It retains the addictive take-and-throw gameplay and cute characters. This enhanced version includes chain attacks, character-specific attack patterns, special drops, and a board game-style Shugoroku mode. The game also boasts expanded drop types, new characters bringing the roster to 16, plus unlockables, and an Ohanashi mode for added enjoyment. 2 new simulation games are coming to the SEGA Saturn. Kamogawa, Great Strategy Goddess's Whisper, is a 20% complete title set in a futuristic Tokyo, where beautiful girls in mechs battle crime. The game features anime cutscenes, multiple endings, and stars 3 sisters. Harukaze Sentai vs. Force, releasing in June for 5,800 yen, is a 50% complete all-ages game. Players defend the solar system from the Vasquille Empire with 4 heroines. It's a strategy simulation with tactical missions, where losing a unit results in game over. The game includes ground, air, and anti-ship combat, a water view battle system, and over 60 minutes of anime cutscenes. The Spring Breeze sisters are key characters, with distinct voice actors. Gameplay involves unit and resource management, featuring anime attacks and defenses, and an experience point system. This page features 2 upcoming titles. First up is Night Ruth Voice Selection Radio Drama, which is an adventure game based on the popular Night Ruth series radio dramas. This game seems to offer a behind-the-scenes look at the radio drama production, showcasing recording sessions and messages from the voice actors. It looks like it will include segments from the radio program L Station, hosted by voice actresses Miyazato Madoka and Kori Kana. They are also previewing the 3rd episode of the Night Ruth radio drama series. The second game highlighted is Criticom, subtitled The Critical Combat. This is described as a cyborg versus creature fighting action game set on the planet Hyperia. The story revolves around various races and warriors battling for a sacred stone. The gameplay emphasizes character progression through leveling up, and simple button combinations for executing moves in 3D battles. The page shows screenshots of characters named Delara and Sonork in combat, and a character named Demonica, who appears to be a leveled-up form. The reviewer seems excited about the fast-paced action and character development in Criticom. This page showcases 2 new games coming to SEGA Saturn. First up is Jisen Pachinko Hishuhao Twin, a pachinko simulation game. It claims to perfectly recreate the experience of playing crossing pachinko machines right on your Saturn, letting you fine-tune settings and strategize without spending real money. It features 2 main modes, a complete strategy mode to analyze machine settings and nail placement, and a practice simulation mode that mimics real-life pachinko parlors, where you can track your winnings and play over a simulated year. The second game is Monster Slider, a puzzle game where you defeat monsters using holy crosses. Blocks fall from the ceiling, and you slide them left and right to match 3 or more of the same type to clear them and create chains. The game introduces different block types, like skull blocks that clear surrounding blocks, special blocks that clear connected blocks, and bonus blocks that clear all blocks of the same color. The reviewer emphasizes the sliding mechanic for creating chains and the puzzle action gameplay. The article previews the theatrical release of Neon Genesis Evangelion, a popular anime. It highlights the series' complex story, philosophical themes, and captivating world that blended giant robots, beautiful girls, and science fiction, appealing to a wide audience. The story follows Shinji Ikari, a young boy who pilots an Evangelion, a giant weapon, to fight against mysterious beings called angels after a cataclysmic event. The series incorporates Christian mythology, psychological analysis, and explores themes of family, relationships, and self-identity. The original anime aired from 1995-1996. Merchandise like singles, soundtracks, posters featuring Rei Ayanami and Asuka Langley Soryu, and other items proved highly popular, generating significant sales. The page builds anticipation for the upcoming movie by promoting related merchandise and advertising the film's availability. My Evangelion Experience explores the anime's widespread influence through diverse perspectives. Hideaki Anno reflects on the series' unexpected success, noting its divergence from other mecha anime. Game designer Masahiro Engano appreciated the dramatic scenes and engaging storylines, finding the second impact plot particularly inspiring. Illustrator Kenji Narai was drawn to the unique animation and mysterious atmosphere. Uji Hiroi highlighted the themes of childhood's potential, in contrast to adult responsibilities, referencing Sailor Wars. Scholar Hiroaki Buno analyzed Evangelion's connection to the concept of neoteny, explaining its resonance with deeply rooted human traits. These professionals reveal Evangelion as a groundbreaking work that transcended its genre, sparking discussions about its themes, characters, and cultural impact, impacting the game industry and beyond. Evangelion's enduring popularity stems from its ability to connect with viewers on a deeply emotional level. Bandai Hobbies' Matsui Akiko attributes its resonance with teenagers to mirroring their anxieties and fostering a sense of shared struggle. Monster designer Kaneda Kazuma praises its complex narrative and stylish visuals, appreciating the puzzle-like nature of the story. Manga artist Yasuno Motoko highlights the relatable parent-child relationships and the characters' internal conflicts. Psychiatrist Kayama Rika analyzes its psychological impact, noting how viewers project themselves onto the characters and find resonance in their struggles, comparing its impact to a universally understood folk song. Ultimately, Evangelion's success lies in its capacity to tap into universal human emotions, making it relatable and impactful. This page previews the Death and Rebirth Evangelion movie, explaining Death as a re-edited TV series with new footage, serving as the first part of the conclusion, while Rebirth is the second. Rebirth 2 is in production, with a July release planned. Key concepts are broken down: Rei Ayanami, Mysterious Pilot; Last Messenger, Angels; Dead Sea Scrolls, Influential Documents; Angels, Nerve's Enemy; Seele, Human Instrumentality Committee; Human Instrumentality Project, Seele's Goal; Second Impact, Catastrophic Event; Nerve, Angel Extermination Organization; and Tomorrow Morning Body, Atom. An interview with King Records director Takashi Yoshioka reveals Rebirth 2 production, that Death focuses on the story and characters, and Rebirth will answer some mysteries, with the final part expected in summer. This page reviews various Evangelion merchandise appealing to collectors. Affordable pin badges, initially unavailable for sale, now retail for 300 yen. The popular mascot doll series offers keychains, with individual UFO catcher prizes costing 400 yen, and complete sets around 3,000 to 3,500 yen. Posters are also highlighted, including a rare Rei in Yukata poster from a municipal campaign, valued at 15,000 to 60,000 yen, and a metallic Rei poster from SEGA UFO Catchers. Cell Club, Selga celluloid artworks are available from UFO Catchers for 400 yen. Finally, Card Das Masters trading cards are featured, with packs of 10 costing 300 yen and complete 172 card sets valued at 30,000 yen. Evangelion 2 for SEGA Saturn is set to launch on March 7th, promising a Birth of a New Myth. A preview article reveals a demo showcasing story elements and animation cuts similar to the TV series previews. The demo, structured like a typical episode preview, features new scenes with Shinji and Asuka. The game introduces a new character, Yamagishi Mayumi, and includes an advertisement demo for the theatrical movie. Snippets of text hint at themes like peering eyes and I hate it. The game costs 6,800 yen and includes an adventure CD single. Scattered phrases suggest a complex experience. Cruel comedy, full-color movie. Again, Asuka and marital quarrel. And irregularities exist in everything. Evangelion 2 appears to offer a deep and varied gameplay experience. Evangelion 2 is launching in 168 hours, and this special feature hypes its release. The game boasts a unique X episode with a multi-scenario system, offering different choices, scenarios, and endings, unlocked separately after completing the main game. Battle scenes utilize book processing with cell animation backgrounds and polygon models for dynamic, smoother visuals. New animations exclusive to the game are included, showcasing unseen scenes and even swimsuit scenes with Asuka and Hikari, alongside the introduction of Yamagishi Mayumi. A demo featuring the opening movie, trailers, and X-episode previews is available upon booting the game. Screenshots and quotes highlight the game's thematic elements and player immersion, with phrases like laughing story and quotes from Ray. The game emphasizes player control with the declaration, "The General Director is you!" and key thematic words like friends, hatred, spring, despair. This page delves deeper into Evangelion 2, showing us how to get started and some of the game's key features. The main title tells us, of course, the opening, but first, let's start by opening the Nerve file, which seems to be the game's main menu. On the left, we get character profiles of the main cast, including Shinji, Misato, Ritsuko, Asuka, Rei, and also introducing two new faces, Mayumi Yamagishi and Hikari Horaki, giving us their voice actors and brief descriptions. The page highlights different ways to enjoy the game, with movie play mentioned, letting you experience the X story, like watching a movie, and battle training to practice combat. It also gives an overview of the game flow, showing how it moves between animation and gameplay. There's a section breaking down EVA 2's rough flow into animation parts, command selection, battle scenario parts, and system battles, giving us an idea of the game's structure. It further details three types of gameplay: anime scenario part, battle scenario part, and system battle, explaining what each mode offers. A neat feature highlighted is real-time wallpaper changes, which suggests the in-game backgrounds will be dynamic. At the bottom, we have a reviewer's thoughts expressing excitement for Evangelion 2, praising its unique and powerful storytelling style, comparing it to the TV series, and mentioning the intriguing X episodes and engaging story. This page continues our dive into Evangelion 2, and this time we're getting into the nitty-gritty of combat. It seems like the game emphasizes timing and distance in battles. We learn about the sync rate, crucial for EVA units, which is affected by your performance and emotions. The page details the battle screen interface, highlighting things like target distance and an action command window, where you select your moves. It explains the core battle flow as being built around time gauges, one for attack, green, and one for defense, red. To attack effectively, you need to time your button presses with the green gauge, considering the distance to your enemy. For defense, you use the red gauge and need to predict the enemy's attack direction. The page mentions different attack types based on distance, like ranged and close quarters combat. There are also character profiles on the right side, introducing more members of the Nerve team: Tuji Suzuhara, Kensuke Aida, Gendo Ikari, Ryuji Kaji, Makoto Hyuga, Maya Ibuki, and Shigeru Ahoba, giving us a bit of info about each of them and their voice actors. Lastly, there's a little snippet about someone playing a sample room of the game, and they seem pretty excited, calling it amazing, and mentioning how engrossing the game is, even just watching the monitor for a while. Evangelion 2's story begins with a cryptic conversation between Kaji and Gendo regarding angels, before moving to a chaotic morning at Misato's apartment, featuring Asuka. The game then shifts to a school setting, where player choices significantly alter the narrative. Interactions with characters like Kensuke, Toji, and Asuka lead to branching paths, including scenes with Mayumi in the library, the class representative in a swimsuit, and a Shinji Asuka argument. The page also features a developer interview with Mogi, discussing the game's development, voice acting, design, and sound. Mogi emphasizes the game's core concept and positive player feedback from a sample room, promising a captivating experience. This page dives deeper into Evangelion 2, highlighting the game's story and bonus content. It mentions how the angel attacks unfold, but the choices you make drastically alter the narrative and character relationships. Even after defeating an angel, there's a lingering sense of unease, particularly with Misato's character, hinting at the story's emotional depth. There's a comment section from the scriptwriter, Yamaguchi Hiroshi, who talks about crafting the game's scenarios and wanting players to experience the story in their own way, emphasizing player choice. He mentions the anime-style storytelling and the process of creating impactful scenes. The page also introduces a sound library feature in the game. This lets you listen to in-game music, including tracks not found on the official soundtrack CD, which is great for fans. It also teases that the bonus content isn't just limited to what's been shown, hinting at even more secrets to uncover depending on your gameplay and completion rate. Continuing the interview from the previous page, we now hear from developer Mogi Yuki. He discusses the game's design, voice acting, and sound, reflecting on the positive reception from players who had a chance to play a sample version. He mentions that he wants players to explore all the different endings and story branches, encouraging multiple playthroughs to fully appreciate the game. He also mentions the polygon graphics being a bit rough, but emphasizes the story is the main draw and hopes players will enjoy unraveling its mysteries. This page is an advert for Yushun Classic Road, a horse racing simulation game for the SEGA Saturn. The game is all about breeding, training, and racing horses to win the Japanese Derby. It emphasizes realistic horse data and simulation. The page highlights the depth of the game, stating there are over 1,000 horses represented, and that it covers a span of years from 1988 to 1996. You'll be managing everything from breeding to racing, aiming for victory in the Japanese Derby. It also boasts realistic horse bloodlines and data, going deep into pedigree information. Screenshots show various aspects of gameplay, including horse stats and condition screens, race previews on a map, and actual race scenes rendered in polygons. The advert promotes the realistic data and the polygon race scenes as key selling points. The game is set to be released on March 14th and priced at 5,800 yen, excluding tax. It seems aimed at fans of horse racing and simulation games looking for a detailed and immersive experience. This magazine section features reader submissions. Games this week discusses Saturn gaming, including adapters for Mega Drive games, and a suggestion for the game Imperial Assault Troop, likely Sakura Taisen. Cool SEGA Saturn this week reviews Fighter Megamix and Dynamite Deca 2. Waiting 5 is a short story. Me Myself details a reader's impulse Mega Drive game purchase after acquiring a Saturn expansion. Sketch addresses clumsiness and seeks advice. Finally covers game organization and white Saturn ownership with warranty concerns. The Other Day focuses on mastering Akira in Virtua Fighter 3. Hamagachi discusses the popular pet and potential related products, along with a suggestion of a school song. The issue also includes a reader art submission area, this week's Gohanban, and a personality sketch. This magazine section highlights reader experiences related to the Saturn console and arcade culture, recent arcade situation, and, the truth is, discuss arcade etiquette and hygiene, with readers from Aichi and Kanagawa prefectures voicing concerns about photo booth hogging, germ spread on controls, and overall cleanliness. Inexplicable Psychology shares a humorous anecdote from Tokyo about a misunderstanding at a convenience store following a digital dance mix session. This week's SEGA Saturn Excitement features fan art submissions for Digital Dance Mix and King of Fighters 96, highlighting game elements. Good Game Discovery Liaison Council showcases a Gunma Prefecture reader's game-buying habits, emphasizing value, thorough completion, and a desire to find more enjoyable games, particularly mentioning Great Adventure. This page showcases reader-submitted content, starting with Virtua Trance, a rhythm game emphasizing competitive gameplay and positional audio. It's targeted at dedicated players, due to its challenging nature and cost. Next is OComicD.AO, a compilation of humorous comics submitted by readers, focusing on daily life and gaming culture, featuring original characters and game references. The King's Ear Q&A features quirky reader questions, including advice on cleaning CD players and cosplay inquiries. Finally, Young Master Now tracks reader sightings of Young Master across different locations, with readers speculating on whether they've been contacted by him and what to spend their money on. This page is showcasing reader submissions again, starting with the This Week's Best One section. There's a Cyberbots-themed artwork at the top left, which is praised for its simplicity and strong finish, though the reviewer wished for a background. Next to it is an arena character illustration. Below that, the Dream Museum section discusses Capcom and SNK-style fan art, noting it's becoming common. They mention they wanted to display different styles. This section features artwork inspired by fighting games and RPGs, mentioning the impact of strong character design. Moving to the right, there's a Street Fighter 02 artwork, praised for its dramatic feel and reused portrayal. Below it is a Dark Hunter piece, referring to the Dark Hunter world and the character's cool vibe. On the bottom left is Nadesico fan art, featuring Eureka and Akito, and someone wonders if it's a hint of a big hit to come. Next to it is an artwork section called Mega Mix, where a reader says they drew characters from games released last year and apologizes for the late submission. Finally, this week's Gasuketsu prize goes to a Virtua Cop Kids piece, noting the characters are well drawn. The program information section includes apologies for errors in previous publications, specifically regarding names, and confirms corrections. They also mention they are looking forward to more reader submissions of illustrations and texts for future features and prize announcements. The page ends with postcard address, providing contact information for submissions. This page looks like an advertisement for an animation and game design school called Yoyogi Animation Gakuen. It's headlined with, "You should go cook Game Sense," and promotes itself as a breeding ground for game creators. They're advertising various courses, including brand new departments for game designers, game character and moving designers, game sound directors, and a CG anime game department. They boast a 98.62% employment rate for graduates, stating it's the average employment and debut rate for graduates of all departments in the school's history. The ad highlights several features of the school, like practical training facilities, natural and comfortable learning environments, 24-hour access, career support, and financial aid including scholarships. It also mentions experienced instructors like Mr. Takenuchi, Mr. Miyazaki, and Mr. Takagi. At the top of the page, there is also an announcement about a Gamera 2 Legion Advent Special Edition, stating it will be available from Dai. The advert also mentions free auditions being held in various locations and provides contact details for inquiries, including phone, fax, URL, and email. There's a section about application procedures and required documents, advising applicants to use postcards and include details like address, name, age, and desired department. March's SEGA Saturn UFO Catcher prizes feature a variety of items. 3 months pickup highlights New Century Evangelion, soft key holders, and Glico tumblers. Other prizes include Morinaga Kyoro-chans, keychains, Pitawan and Mimi wall clocks, Sesame Street bodyguard alarms, and jumbo teddy rucksacks. To stay informed, the page promotes Sega Joy Joy telephone for weekly audio updates and Sega Fax Club for faxed information. A video magazine, Flash SEGA Saturn, is advertised for April, offering 30 minutes of SEGA Saturn news, promotional videos, and exclusive content. The March edition includes game previews like Puzzle Bobble 3 and New Century Evangelion Second Impression, along with coverage of games like J-League Victory Goal 97. This video offers a way to sample new games before purchase. This page is a Sega press queue and a corner called Sonic Stadium, where Sega answers questions from fans. The first question is about the What's Next flyers found in stores, which are monthly flyers for upcoming Saturn games featuring key titles. They mention creating 35 titles in 2 months for these flyers. The second question is about making CG graphics on DOS/Versus or Mac for someone who isn't good at drawings. Sega explains that professional artists are involved in CG creation, but anyone can do it with the right tools. They use Macintosh and Silicon graphics workstations and describe the process of creating CG with wireframes and textures, using games like Sakura Wars Columns and Puzzle Bobble as examples. They also mention enjoying puzzle games themselves and discuss difficulty in puzzle games and strategy in Sakura Wars, emphasizing intuition and teamwork in Sakura Wars battles. Below the Q&A is Sega Public Relations Daily News, featuring short messages from Sega staff. Take-chan thanks those who gave him Valentine's chocolate and is excited about future Chunsoft games on Saturn, wondering if the console will break out of its niche. Fukazawa has finished working on Ones and started on Bones, thanking everyone for their fax messages. Honey Hanaya talks about photographing small items, mentioning Tamagotchi and Print Club photo booths, and the long lines to use them. This page features an interview with the staff behind the radio program Warp, hosted by Kenji Ino on Tokyo FM. The interview discusses the concept of the radio show, which started on February 3rd and is scheduled to end on March 27th, sponsored by Ino. The interviewers ask about the program's inception, listener feedback, and future plans. The staff explain that the show aims to be a visible radio experience, exploring the possibilities of radio as a medium. Listener interaction is a key element, with submissions encouraged through fax, postcards, and the internet. They mention that listener response has been positive, and the program format includes listener-submitted ideas, game music, and segments, where Ino Kenji expresses his thoughts. Prizes for listener participation include the Ino Award and a Las Vegas round-trip pair ticket, with a Macintosh PowerBook 5300 also mentioned as a prize. The page also provides details about the program schedule, including the Kenji Ino's Rezonetta segment, airing from Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., and the Night Warp Ino at Home segment, airing every Saturday from 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. Listeners can send in submissions via post, fax, or internet to participate in the program and potentially win prizes. The program's concept is described as aiming to explore the possibilities of radio and create a fun, interactive experience for listeners, blending radio and gaming culture. This page features advertisements for 2 books. Firstly, there is Dungeon Rhapsody by Sakata Junko, described as a collection of columns originally serialized in Super 64, which are now compiled into a single book. It mentions it includes newly drawn comics and game-free manga for readers to enjoy. The book is B6 size, 192 pages, and priced at 1,000 yen. The second book advertised is titled Will the Game Machine Sing Daisy Daisy?, authored by Ono Sayuri, with illustrations by Mizutama Keinosuke. This one is described as a collection of game-related essays, mentioning that it's been about 10 years since the game boom, and questioning if there was ever a genre called game boom in the first place. It discusses the powerful allure of games, and reflects on the times when games were different. The book aims to be enjoyable and relatable for readers who feel the same way, acknowledging both the positive and perhaps slightly odd aspects of game enthusiasm. This book is B6 size, 240 pages, and also priced at 1,000 yen. There are small manga panels included to give a visual taste of the second book, showing humorous scenes related to gaming experiences. The advert also includes publisher information for SoftBank and their sales contact details. This page presents a new software schedule, essentially a release list of upcoming games. It's laid out in a table format detailing release dates in February, March, April, May, June, July, and even some unspecified dates. The table includes columns for the release date, the game title, the price, the maker or publisher, the game genre, and any compatibility notes. Looking through the titles for February 28th, there's Sega Ages Memorial Selection Volume 1, NBA Jam Extreme, Space Jam, and Sudoku Battle 97. March 28th has a bunch too, including Cyberdoll, SS Adventure Pack 7 Mysteries and Mist, and Daikukai Jidai Gaiden. It seems like a pretty standard release schedule you'd find in a gaming magazine, giving players an idea of what's coming out and when. There's a key at the top explaining the genre abbreviations used, like ACT for action and RPG for role-playing, and also abbreviations for compatible peripherals like racing wheels and multitaps. It's a straightforward listing of new games planned for release. This page is another release schedule page, continuing with game releases planned for spring, summer, autumn, and towards the end of 1997. For spring releases, we see titles like Dark Hunter, Nightmare of the Labyrinth, Doom, Primal Rage, and Digital Angel, Pretty Angel Superfactory. There's a wide mix of genres like adventure, action, and simulation games. Some titles are noted as being media request, indicating perhaps review copies or promotional pushes. Moving into summer, we see titles such as Phantasm, Biohazard, Resident Evil, Amok Hunter R, and Prisoner of Justice 2 Eyes. Again, a mix of genres with action, adventure, and shooting games listed. Autumn includes games like Guilty Gear, Kakenoki Daisakusen, Galaxy Act Heroism, and Hopstep Idos. There's also a game called Star Child Love Song Shimasho. Finally, 97 Year End has Wizard's Harmony 2, Snow Queen, Renza Chain Thinking Tool, and Herc's Adventures, Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. It looks like a packed release schedule, spanning various genres to cater to different player tastes. This page is a SEGA Saturn software databank, essentially a review and information page for SEGA Saturn games. It covers games released or relevant between November 1994 and February 1997. The page seems to be highlighting top-rated games based on reader reviews, mentioning a reader review corner where 3 reviewers scored the games. It looks like they are presenting average scores from these reviews. The page itself is a detailed list of games, categorized by release date, game title, publisher, price, genre, reviewer scores, and compatibility info. It mentions that 18 indicates games suitable for age 18 and up, and X means something equivalent to 18. Standing through the list, some notable titles include Virtua Fighter, Wanchai Connection, Daytona USA, Clockwork Knight, Victory Goal, Pebble Beach Golf Links, Rampo, Darius Gaiden, Assault Suit Lanos 2, Virtual On, Guardian Heroes, Street Fighter 02, Deep Fear, Sonic 3, D-Blast, Mr. Bones, Bug 2, Christmas Nights, and many more. The reviewers have given scores out of 10 for each game, and there are some comments on compatibility with peripherals, such as joysticks and multiplayers. It's a comprehensive overview of a significant portion of the SEGA Saturn game library from its early days up to early 1997, presented in a data-rich format with reviewer scores. This page continues the SEGA Saturn software databank, diving deeper into the game library. It looks like we are still in the 96 games, with a mix of genres. There's quite a range, from action titles like Guardian Heroes, which we saw earlier, now further down the list with Street Fighter 02 and Deep Fear. We see entries for puzzle games, like Puzzle Bobble 3, which is always a fun time. Sports games are represented too with titles like Victory Goal. RPG fans get a mention with games like Deep Fear. It seems like they're covering a broad spectrum of what the Saturn had to offer. The data format continues with game titles, publishers, prices, genres, and the all-important reader review scores out of 10. We've got some racing games popping up and more action titles as we go down the list. There's even some adventure and simulation type games listed. They're still using the 18 and X markers to indicate mature content. It's interesting to see the variety of games being scored and commented on by the readers, giving a real snapshot of the Saturn gaming scene at the time. The scores give a quick indication of what players thought were the must-have titles. The next page presents 2 key sections: a continuation of the SEGA Saturn game databank, and a detailed index. The databank section appears to list more games from around 96, covering a variety of genres. We can see sports titles like Aksha Soccer and the horse racing simulation Winning Post, alongside puzzle games and adventure titles such as Jewels of Oracle. Each game entry includes reader review scores, giving a snapshot of player opinions at the time. Below this databank, we find a comprehensive game index. This index is organized alphabetically based on Japanese phonetic characters and serves as a handy guide to locate specific game information within the magazine. It lists game titles, along with their corresponding page numbers, making it easy to navigate and find reviews or details for a particular game of interest. This index highlights the sheer volume of games covered in this publication. This page continues the SEGA Saturn game databank, listing more titles with details like their genres, prices, and most importantly, reader review scores, which give an interesting snapshot of popular opinion at the time. There's a wide variety of games featured, including RPGs like Shining the Holy Ark, racing games like Daytona USA and Nissan Presents Overdrive and GTR, and fighting games such as Fighters Megamix and Virtual On. You can even see titles like Tomb Raider and Enemy Zero on the list, highlighting the diverse library of the Saturn. Below the game databank is a comprehensive index of games. This index is organized alphabetically using Japanese characters and serves as a really useful tool for quickly finding specific game information within the magazine. Essentially, it's a handy game title and page number lookup, making navigation much easier and showing just how many games this magazine covered. This page is all about a reader survey for SEGA Saturn magazine. It starts with instructions on how to fill out the questionnaire postcard, with examples of good and bad ways to answer. There's a hardware list detailing various Saturn consoles, add-ons like the power memory, and accessories such as joysticks and controllers. Then there's a massive software list, just a huge list of games available. You'll also see a table showing the articles featured in this issue of the magazine. Finally, the survey itself asks readers about their opinions on the magazine's articles, what kind of SEGA Saturn games they like, and what hardware they own or are planning to buy. It seems like they're really trying to get a good sense of what their readers think and what they're interested in playing on their Saturns. This page announces a Game School special feature for Spring '97. The headline is boldly displayed, saying, Game School Special Feature in Japanese. Two cute cartoon characters, a boy and girl, are featured prominently, looking like they're inviting you to join them. The text in a red speech bubble exclaims, "Come on!" And just below the characters it says, "To the world of game creators." It has a very positive and welcoming vibe, possibly aimed at readers interested in game development, which could tie in with the reader survey from the previous page about readers' interests. This page is an interview titled, Game Creators Create the Next Media Part 1, and it features Yoichi Miyagi, the president and CEO of Game Arts. The interview is all about the game industry as the cutting edge of media. Miyagi talks about how games are becoming the next big thing, like TV was before, and that interactive media is really key. He believes games offer a unique interactive experience that other media can't match. Miyagi emphasizes that originality is the most important thing in game development. He says a top director needs to have their own style and create original and interesting games. He also points out the different roles in game development, like producers, directors, artists, and programmers, highlighting that every role needs talented people. He mentions it's tough being a producer as they have to gather funds and manage the team, but directors need to pull everything together. For young people wanting to get into the game industry, Miyagi suggests that they should go to specialized schools. He believes that while university is good, focused training in game development is more effective to gain the skills needed. Overall, the interview paints a picture of the game industry as a dynamic and exciting place to be, emphasizing creativity, originality, and the importance of interactive experiences. This page continues the interview with Game Arts, featuring Hidenobu Takahashi, the Section Chief of Development Department 1. The overarching theme is about the game development frontline being a place of hot dreams, where developers stimulate and improve each other. Takahashi discusses the graphic design for Grandia, a highly anticipated game from Game Arts. He mentions that they pushed the limits of 8-bit and 16-bit era restrictions to create a completely new RPG for the 32-bit generation. He highlights that in Grandia, players can freely move around in a 3D world, with backgrounds rendered in CG and character animations also done using animation techniques. They even used motion capture for character movement to enhance realism, aiming for an immersive experience. Game Arts emphasizes the emotional connection to the work, prioritizing world building and story in their games, which is why they aimed for a very tactile and immersive experience in Grandia. Takahashi mentions that within Game Arts, it's crucial to have a shared goal and understanding. He emphasizes training new recruits, stating that for graphic designers, drawing ability is fundamental, but everyone in game development needs a broad understanding of the entire process. He also describes a level-up system for employees within the company, aiming to cultivate skilled professionals. The page includes a screenshot from Grandia showing a battle scene with characters Justin, Fina, Sue, and Gadwin, showcasing the game's visual style. This page continues with an interview, this time featuring Manabu Daishima, a development graphic designer from Square Enix. The interview delves into his journey into the game industry, starting with his interest in becoming a creator after playing games. He mentions joining Square and learning about game creation, initially through trial and error, using various machines, software, and tools. Daishima discusses his approach to game creation, emphasizing that good games are made with sense and feeling. He reflects on his memorable work experiences, recalling his early days working on Monster graphics for Romancing Saga. He describes the initial struggle and challenges, but also the satisfaction of creating skeleton graphics that were well received. He also mentions his work on the water effects in Chrono Trigger, highlighting the iterative process of trial and error to achieve the desired visual outcome. Another significant project he talks about is the ending sequence for Final Fantasy Versus. He aimed to create a scene where the protagonist runs through a three-dimensional grassy field, collaborating with programmers to achieve this effect. He describes it as a very demanding and dramatic ending sequence. The page includes a screenshot from Saga Frontier, showcasing a village environment. Towards the end of the interview, Daishima shares what kind of people Square Enix is looking for, expressing hopes for individuals who are passionate about joining the game industry and bring new perspectives to the company. This page continues the interview with Hideo Minaba, a development graphic designer at Square Enix. Minaba emphasizes that while initial skills are helpful, a strong passion is what truly matters in game development, allowing you to learn and grow within the company. He describes Square Enix as a place that offers creative freedom, but is also strict with quality standards. He mentions it's both enjoyable and challenging, a place where talented individuals are always welcome, and that they have a clear career progression path. Minaba highlights the bonus system at Square, where successful creators can earn significant rewards based on game sales. He enjoys the game development environment, seeing it as a world where passion can be pursued, but stresses the uncompromising nature of quality, requiring hard work and dedication to reach the highest standards, even if it means late nights. However, he also mentions the reward of a break after project completion. Square Enix is actively seeking individuals with talent and passion for game creation. The page also includes a section focusing on upcoming game graphics. Daishima is currently working on background graphics for Saga Frontier, experimenting with CG and focusing on achieving high visual quality through trial and error. Minaba is working on the maps for Final Fantasy Tactics, utilizing real-time polygons to create smooth, 360-degree environments, acknowledging the demanding work involved in reaching a target frame rate of 60 frames per second. This page is all about breaking down the different jobs you find in the game industry. It looks at roles like producer/director, who is basically the project leader, managing the team, budget, and schedule, needing to be a people person with strong leadership. Then there's the planner, the idea guy or gal, who designs the game and makes sure it's actually doable, so creativity and planning skills are key, with originality being really valued. Scenario writers are the storytellers, crafting the world and characters, vital for RPGs and strategy games, needing strong writing chops. Programmers are the ones who bring everything to life with code, making the game actually work, requiring both technical skills and creativity. Graphic designers handle all the visuals, from characters to backgrounds, making the game look great, and 3D CG skills are becoming super important these days. Lastly, sound programmers create all the music and sound effects, which are crucial for the whole game experience, needing both musical talent and programming know-how. It's basically an overview of the different kinds of roles you can have if you're thinking about working in the game industry, highlighting the skills needed for each. This Q&A session offers advice on entering the game industry. To get a job, determine your desired role: programming, art, marketing, etc. For graduates, passion and demonstrable skills are crucial. For those with experience, it's a combination of skills and passion. Explore game schools, but direct applications are also viable. Proactive efforts and showcasing your abilities are key. Choosing a game school involves research. Get brochures, attend open days, including online options, and talk to staff. Schools provide industry connections and teach vital skills. Special lectures by industry professionals offer valuable real-world insights. Finally, school lessons differ from the industry's fast-paced, ever-evolving environment. Schools provide foundational skills. The industry demands continuous learning, specialization, and self-drive. Focus on the core skills and be prepared to adapt. This page is an advertisement for the Human Academy Game School, boasting 30 years of experience in game education. They highlight 3 key points: their long history, a practical and creative-focused curriculum, and detailed career support tailored to each student's aspirations. The school emphasizes training professionals for the game industry and entertainment fields. They offer 2 main specialized courses: a game creator course and a CG design course, both available in 2-year and 4-year options, with the 4-year course offering part-time study. The game creator course covers everything from conceptual game design and character creation to sound effects and scenario writing, aiming to equip students with business skills relevant to the gaming world. The CG design course explores computer graphics in a wider range, including movies, broadcasting, advertising, and computer games, using Macintosh systems for training. The school also offers evening courses in Tokyo, with specialized options like 3D CG using Softimage, 3D CG specialist training, and Macintosh-based character design and CG animation courses, as well as a scenario creator course. They really stress that aiming to become a game creator can be achieved by learning these skills, especially character design, CG animation, and scenario writing, and ultimately boosting your chances of getting a job in the game industry. This article showcases Human Academy, featuring interviews with a student and a staff member. Koji Kurochi, a Mac design student, was inspired by 3D CG, particularly Jurassic Park, and joined Human Academy to gain industry skills. He highlights the importance of understanding 3D principles. Mr. Akai from the Career Guidance Department emphasizes the Academy's commitment to nurturing aspiring game creators, regardless of prior experience, offering tailored career support and practical, hands-on training. They assist students in finding employment year-round, considering individual aspirations. The Academy, particularly well-regarded in Osaka, offers game creator and CG design courses across multiple Japanese locations, with program details and application information provided. This page seems to be an advertisement for Yoyogi Animation Academy, a school focused on nurturing multimedia and game creators. It highlights 3 key points: fostering originality in students to become strong professionals, having a nationwide network of school branches across Japan, and providing excellent career guidance leading to high employment rates. The Academy emphasizes its long history and its role as a pioneering institution for animator training in Japan. They boast a large-scale and comprehensive teaching staff, adapting to modern trends by integrating the latest computer technology into their CG visual, animation, graphics, and game creation courses. They aim to cultivate talent capable of working across various entertainment fields. The school section emphasizes experienced instructors and a substantial curriculum, focusing on practical skills and fundamental knowledge. They stress developing originality and offer extensive career support, including guidance, portfolio reviews, and job placement assistance. They also mention affordable tuition, on-campus dining, 24-hour access, and free medical consultation, showing a commitment to student well-being. The product section highlights professional simulation and practical creative training, where students get hands-on experience creating actual games, CG animation, comics, and novels. They believe in fostering storytelling ability as crucial for game creation, and emphasize character design, color sense, and digital art skills. The school also helps students distribute their creations and build industry connections, showcasing opportunities to enter professional fields. The page features images of the school building and students actively learning in a computer lab environment. Yoyogi Animation Academy highlights 2 student testimonials. Yoko Yamagishi from the CG Animation and Game Department secured a job at Capcom. She praises the school's blend of fundamental skills and modern software like Max, the individual guidance, and drawing emphasis. Yuta Yoshino from the Animator Department realized his dream, landing a role at Telecom. He valued the practical training, mock exams, and teacher support in preparing for interviews. He appreciated the diverse hardware and aims to contribute his name to anime credits. The page also lists various courses, application details for April admissions, and an advertisement for a computer-based aptitude test, Charisma Map, for art-related fields. BitHouse, a digital media academy, is launching in April 1997, focusing on training future content creators. The academy emphasizes action, creativity, and the need for fresh talent in the growing information industry. It offers short courses for students and working adults, with a focus on CG and game development, along with network-related courses. BitHouse distinguishes itself with a roster of special lecturers from the industry, including notable figures like Goichi Suda and Shoji Masuko, alongside professionals from companies like Cherry Babe and Doors. The school aims to equip students with practical skills and industry connections, preparing them for success in the evolving digital landscape. This page highlights BitHouse Digital Media School, continuing from the previous page's introduction, emphasizing its cutting-edge digital environment for aspiring content creators. It's recruiting students now, targeting those who want to excel in the digital media industry. BitHouse boasts a state-of-the-art setup with SGIO2 workstations, Power Macintosh, and Windows NT PCs, aiming to cultivate content creators with advanced digital skills and rich creative power. They offer specialized courses in CG, games, and networking to equip students for the 21st century. The school emphasizes its impressive faculty, including industry figures like Goichi Suda of Grasshopper Manufacture, Shoji Masuko from Atlas Sound Team, and Scott Ars Fisher, known for telepresence. Other lecturers include industry professionals from companies like Cherry Babe and Doors, offering diverse expertise. It Helpatus is accepting applications for the first term of 1997 and provides contact information for inquiries. It's presented as the ideal place to launch a career in digital media creation.
Nihon Kogakuin College, with its Hachioji campus, advertises itself as a leading institution for creators in the digital realm. The college emphasizes its long history in specialized education, spacious campuses with modern technology, and a focus on practical, hands-on training to nurture creative talent. The curriculum prioritizes acquiring skills in areas like CG, games, and multimedia. A student testimonial from Yamamoto Junya, a multimedia arts student, highlights the school's reputation for game development, citing its curriculum covering game programming in Prioric language and access to advanced equipment. The page lists courses offered at both campuses, including game software, internet/network, and digital design/media arts. The college positions itself as the ideal choice for aspiring game developers and digital media professionals, emphasizing its established reputation, facilities, and industry-focused education. This page is an advertisement for Vantan Game School, highlighting its strengths in game creator education. It emphasizes 3 key points: instructors who are active industry professionals, a curriculum that's updated yearly to keep pace with the latest industry trends, and strong career support, leading to high employment rates. The school boasts that it has deep roots in game design education, drawing on 30 years of experience from the Vantan Design Institute. The ad details that the school's courses are specialized and tailored to various game development fields, including game graphics, computer animation, visual creation, and digital sound. They pride themselves on high employment rates and guiding students towards their desired career paths in the game industry. It also mentions strong career guidance provided by the school, with many alumni working on the front lines of the industry. They invite companies to visit and scout talent directly from the school. Additionally, they host a culture festival showcasing famous creators and student works called the Vantan Creators Festa, exhibiting a wide range of student creations like games, CG movies, and soundtracks, judged by industry professionals. The ad includes details on admission for both 2-year and 4-year courses, application periods, selection methods, and available courses with their remaining slots as of February 10th. It lists a variety of courses including game design, graphic design, computer animation, visual creation, digital sound, scenario and writer, game graphics, game program, and game development research. This page is an advertisement for AMAC Academy, a game school that really understands the games industry. They highlight 3 key points: being directly connected to game developers to ensure practical, immediately useful skills, offering evening courses tailored for working adults and university students, and providing access to cutting-edge machines and development tools. AMAC Academy positions itself as being deeply rooted in the game development world, being part of a game company, and having instructors who are active professionals. They emphasize learning practical skills that can be directly applied in real-world game creation scenarios. The courses cover essential areas like programming, graphics, sound creation, and game planning. They are particularly appealing to individuals already in society who aspire to become game creators. The school also stresses the importance of nurturing top-tier game creators to drive the future of the industry. They offer a flexible course selection system, where students initially learn the fundamentals before specializing in areas that match their aptitude, such as programming, graphics, sound, or planning. They use a team-based project approach for learning, mirroring real game development environments. They mention graduates creating works that are distributed on Crodrom and actively involved in job hunting, suggesting a strong focus on career placement. The ad provides enrollment information, but we'll skip those specific details for now. This page is a special feature titled Big Creator Talk from SEGA Saturn Magazine. It's a discussion between 2 major game creators, Kenji Ino from Warp, known as the oddball of the industry, and Yu Suzuki from SEGA AM2, a prominent figure at SEGA. The article is about a conversation between these 2 figures, highlighting their unique perspectives and focusing on the current state of the game industry and what its future should look like. Below their portraits are screenshots of games associated with each creator. For Kenji Ino and Warp, there are images that appear to be from the games D and possibly Enemy Zero. For Yu Suzuki and AM2, there are screenshots from Virtua Fighter and Daytona USA. The article seems to be setting up a dialogue between these 2 influential developers, exploring their thoughts on game creation and the industry. This page continues the Big Creator Talk interview with Kenji Ino from Warp. Ino starts off by stating his belief that games are more than just binary code.
emphasizing the importance of emotional impact in games. He feels a significant portion of game design should focus on elements that resonate with players' feelings. The article delves into Warp's game creation process, particularly for Real Sound, Cause No Regret. Eno explains that the starting point for game development is surprisingly simple. For Real Sound, they focused on crafting a game that evokes emotions, highlighting aspects like casting voice actors, and keeping the gameplay mechanics straightforward. He also mentions Enemy Zero, referring to it as the overseas version of Enemy Zero, and discusses its development alongside Real Sound. There's a brief mention of D no Shokutaku 2 and M2 in relation to Warp's current projects at the time. Eno emphasizes a simple and direct approach to game development, suggesting that focusing on core emotions and straightforward mechanics is key to creating impactful games. He talks about the functional integration of various elements and striving for methodological simplicity in game design. The page features screenshots from Real Sound, Cause No Regret, and Enemy Zero, showcasing the visual style of these games. This page continues the Big Creator Talk feature, now with an interview with Yu Suzuki from SEGA AM2. Suzuki discusses his philosophy of game development, emphasizing the importance of digital-like precision even when creating analog-like experiences. He talks about game duration, categorizing them into 3-minute games and long-time games. He uses Wizardry and Ultima as examples of complex games and mentions simplifying elements for wider appeal. Suzuki reveals that he values user feedback and incorporates it into his game design, particularly for Enemy Zero. He believes in listening to what players say and using that to refine the gaming experience. He also touches upon the concept of Enemy Zero being like a movie, stressing the importance of cinematic presentation and storytelling in games, even suggesting complex parts should be streamlined for better enjoyment. The page includes screenshots from Virtua Fighter and Daytona USA, showcasing classic Sega AM2 arcade titles. The tagline at the bottom reads, "Simple is powerful. Pure power, that's what it's all about, isn't it?" Which encapsulates Suzuki's design philosophy. This page continues the interview with Yu Suzuki, diving deeper into his game development philosophy. He humorously suggests making a gun game next, highlighting his interest in action-oriented titles. Suzuki elaborates on his game design principles, stating he aims for games that are both enjoyable for a short 3-minute play session and engaging for longer playtime, mentioning games like Wizardry and Ultima as examples of complex games. He believes in simplifying complex elements to broaden appeal. Suzuki emphasizes the importance of player feedback in his design process, particularly for Enemy Zero. He sees Enemy Zero as almost movie-like, prioritizing cinematic storytelling and streamlining complex parts for better player experience. He mentions the idea of design documents and writing planning documents to conceptualize game ideas. He talks about wanting to create games that players can fully immerse themselves in and enjoy, proposing ideas for incorporating player feedback and family-friendly gameplay in future projects. The page also includes a giveaway of 3 signed artboards by both interviewees. To enter, readers need to send in their address, age, name, phone number, impressions of the interview, and desired signed artwork. The deadline for entries is March 14th. This page showcases the upcoming SEGA Saturn title, Advanced Variable Geo 2, subtitled Planet Strong Attack Ovan Le Quo Vadis 2. It's presented as a simulation RPG set in a sci-fi world, evident from the mecha and character artwork displayed prominently. The game is marked as 82% complete and is slated for release on April 4th, priced at 6,800 yen for a 2-disc set. It's designed for single player and is suitable for all ages. The developers highlight their focus on storytelling, referencing the Red Butterfly Brigade as a key element and mentioning the integration of STS2, which likely means Storytelling Simulation System, aiming for a cinematic experience. They're using real-time voice in conversations and have gathered a team from the animation industry, suggesting a strong emphasis on visuals and narrative. The game promises a new type of SF simulation, nearing completion. The text hints at a plot involving events from 10 years prior and a mystery surrounding a character named Ovan, posing the question, who hid Ovan? Screenshots suggest both tactical map gameplay and closer combat scenes, along with character interaction sequences. The overall tone is one of excitement for a promising new SF simulation RPG on the Saturn. This page is all about the battle screen and command systems in Planet Strong Attack Ovan Le Quo Vadis 2. It's highlighting how immersive the game aims to be, with its real-time communication and combat. The page breaks down various elements of the battle interface, like showing search and firing ranges for units, and displays for unit and soldier status, which includes things like condition, morale, equipment, and combat power. There's also a radar screen for battlefield awareness, and a communication window for in-game dialogues using the STS2 system. The core of the page focuses on the command menu, which is essential for directly controlling your squad, particularly the Red Iron Squad, and it details 4 main commands. The Move command lets you set precise paths with waypoints, even allowing for combat during movement. High Speed is for faster movement, good for quick repositioning, but it comes with reduced terrain defense benefits. Designate is your target priority command, letting you focus fire on specific enemies. Lastly, the Weapon command is for choosing the best weapon for the situation from different types like direct, indirect, smoke, and illumination rounds, each with unique ranges and uses. The overall impression is that the game is striving for a deep strategic experience, where understanding the battle information and using commands effectively are key to victory. In Planet Strong Attack, Ovan Le Quo Vadis 2, pilot and mech progression is key. Pilots gain skills in shooting, melee, etc. through combat experience, with experience adjusted based on battle scenarios. The game features 4 core characters, Psychoff, Donner, Nelly, and Sid, each with unique specializations. Players recruit additional characters to expand their team. Assault armor mechs evolve, gaining access to new weapons and upgrades as you progress. You can customize loadouts and tailor equipment for various playstyles. The game also incorporates route branching and weapon variations, encouraging replayability and strategic customization of both pilots and mechs. In Planet Strong Attack, Ovan Le Quo Vadis 2, players will experience diverse planetary environments and strategic combat. After initial events, Ovan undertakes missions across several planets. Gaid, the planet of war, features urban combat against Goa forces. Mubandaka, the evergreen deep planet, offers guerrilla warfare in dense forests. Orig, the planet crowded with cities and people, sees players preventing Goa occupation in large cities. Mare, the ocean and isolated island planet, introduces naval engagements and island-hopping scenarios. Badra, the mist wasteland planet, utilizes stealth tactics in a misty environment. Yamskwa, the A2 freezing planet, presents challenging battles in an icy world. Finally, Zeal, the vast sand planet, involves large-scale warfare in desert landscapes, protecting Allied forces. The game also hints at Ozavan's deeper purpose amidst the conflict. This page talks about the new digital animation techniques being used in the upcoming game Planet Strong Attack. Ovan Le Quo Vadis 2. They explain that this new technology allows for high-quality visuals, almost indistinguishable from traditional animation, but with greater efficiency in production. It mentions the game uses computer graphics to achieve detailed gradations and translucent effects, enhancing the visual presentation. The page also features an interview with animation director Ichiro Itano, who also worked on previous Quo Vadis titles. Itano discusses his approach to game direction, emphasizing the importance of player experience and making the game engaging. He mentions that he was drawn to the animation and game fusion theme of Quo Vadis, and highlights his commitment to creating immersive and dramatic games. He also touches upon game design philosophy, comparing it to directing animation and expressing a desire to offer players something beyond just following trends, like the Legend of Zelda series, and to create experiences that resonate with players emotionally and intellectually, likening the player to someone living in the game world. The editorial section reinforces Itano's involvement and enthusiasm for the project, emphasizing his dedication to quality animation and dramatic storytelling in games. This page continues the interview with Ichiro Itano, focusing on his work as animation director for Planet Strong Attack. Ovan Le Quo Vadis 2. Itano elaborates on the animation process, mentioning that they are using the latest digital animation techniques, specifically anime. He notes that while it's advanced, the core animation principles remain the same, emphasizing the importance of timing and expression to convey emotion and action effectively, just like traditional animation. Itano talks about his vision for the game, wanting to create something that goes beyond simply following trends. He compares game direction to animation direction, stressing the need for immersive experiences. He is aiming to create a game world where players feel genuinely present and engaged, experiencing a dramatic story that resonates with them on an emotional and intellectual level. The editorial team highlights Itano's dedication to high-quality animation and dramatic storytelling, reaffirming his central role and enthusiasm for the project. They mention that while making the game, they considered various animation styles, ultimately aiming for something that feels both fresh and familiar. The page also features a large tagline exclaiming, "Undoubtedly the highest quality animation of the year," and includes screenshots from the game showcasing mecha action and explosions, reinforcing the emphasis on visual quality and exciting gameplay. Itano concludes by expressing his hope that players will judge the game based on its animation and overall quality, urging users to look out for Itano Circus in this Quo Vadis title, promising it will be complete. Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 2-1 Legacy of the Blue Destiny concludes the Gundam Side Story trilogy for the Sega Saturns. Set during the One-Year War, it follows Ensign Yu Kojima, a Federation pilot entangled with the experimental exam system. He battles the Zeon ace Nimbus Stertzen, piloting the Ifrit Kai, destroying the enemy's exam-equipped machine head. The story escalates, involving space conflicts at a Zeon research facility, where the exam system's connection to new types is hinted. Yoon escapes in the Blue Destiny Unit 3, pursued by Nimbus in Unit 2. Game details include a 100% completion rating, a March 7th release for 4,800 yen, drama shooting gameplay, and twin-stick support. The article notes fan anticipation and the game's immersive atmosphere. Finally, it promotes Gundam OGS, a character game promising original storylines and unexpected twists within the Gundam universe. This page focuses on Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 2-1 Legacy of the Blue Destiny. It sets the stage for the final confrontation, highlighting the exam system as the core of the conflict between the two aces, Yu and Nimbus, in the vastness of space. The game is described as a drama shooting experience, with the beam rifle being a key weapon, boasting impressive power. A cool bonus for players who complete the main story is the EMS Viewer mode. This feature lets you appreciate the detailed models of the mobile suits, offering a 360-degree view with new animations created just for this mode, and specifically highlights the RX-79BD3 Blue Destiny Unit 3. This page continues the coverage of Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story 2, The Blue Destiny, highlighting it as the final battle and the conclusion of the Blue Destiny saga. It emphasizes that the ending isn't singular, suggesting multiple outcomes might be possible. The page features screenshots from intense in-game battles and showcases various mobile suits such as the RX-79BD2 Blue Destiny Unit 2, MSM-03C Hygog, MS-14A Gelgoog, and MS-08TX Exam, Ifrit Custom, giving players a visual preview of the units they might encounter or control. There's a section reflecting on the three-part side story series as a whole, praising its unparalleled solid Gaiden world. The reviewer discusses how the series, released roughly every 3 months, captures the charm of the Gaiden stories and explores what makes them appealing. They mention the use of polygon graphics to create realistic mobile suits and scenarios akin to original video animations. The reviewer notes the depth of the scenarios, allowing players to immerse themselves and feel like they are embodying Yu Kojima, the protagonist. They emphasize the seamless integration of gameplay and dramatic story elements, creating a captivating experience where players naturally identify with Yu and his role. They believe this immersive quality, where players feel deeply connected to the game, is the true essence and appeal of the Gaiden series. This page is all about the game Advanced World War, Last of the Millennium, described as a war simulation. It's highlighting the opening movie of the game, which uses polygon graphics and real video footage to recreate major battles of World War II. The article mentions that the opening movie depicts the history of Germany leading up to the war and the war itself, emphasizing the European theater and even showing swastika imagery. They talk about how the game uses a dual map system and aims to provide a realistic war simulation experience. There's a note saying the game is about a month away from release and is directed at fans who are eagerly waiting, asking for a little more patience. Another section emphasizes the game's use of valuable video materials. The screenshots showcase various WW2 military elements like tanks, planes, and soldiers, in what seems to be a realistic depiction of the conflict. One caption identifies a plane as an FW-190 and refers to German tanks, further solidifying the WW2 setting. This page dives deeper into Advanced World War, Last of the Millennium, calling it a thorough dissection. It highlights the game's evolved map screen thanks to the dual map system for the Stalingrad city battle scenario. The page emphasizes realism, stating that in each map, enemy units are realistically named and organized, mentioning Soviet 57th, 62nd, and 66th armies, alongside a reserve unit. Commander abilities will vary by stage. Moving on. The game faithfully recreates terrain and buildings, influencing battles, adding strategic depth with realistic terrain and urban areas like train stations. The Thousand-Year Empire's demise scenario features combined arms warfare, meaning diverse units like infantry, tanks, and artillery will fight together. Airports can handle multiple aircraft, specifically 1 to 2 units, and up to 8 planes total, enabling large-scale air operations. Adding to the realism, all commanders are real historical figures, including famous German commanders like Rommel and Raeder. Finally, the page showcases 3D models of selected weapons. We see the Soviet KV-1B heavy tank, early German Panzer IV tanks, and the large German He-177 bomber, each with a brief description highlighting their historical context in the war. The page concludes by boldly stating the game's completion degree surpasses previous works. This page introduces the campaign mode and standard mode for Advanced World War, Last of the Millennium. For campaign mode, we see 2 scenarios: Paris Blitzkrieg Battle and Battle of Britain. The Paris Blitzkrieg Battle puts you in command of German forces aiming to capture Paris after invading through Belgium and Luxembourg. It mentions utilizing 7 combined arms divisions, including ground and air forces, emphasizing strategic gameplay around the Maginot Line. The Battle of Britain scenario focuses on securing air superiority over the English Channel to prepare for a potential invasion of Britain. It highlights the importance of air combat and strategic decisions related to achieving air dominance. Standard mode features scenarios titled Winter Campaign and Autumn Campaign. The Winter Campaign is set on the Eastern Front, where the German 6th Army is encircled near Stalingrad, requiring players to break through and rescue them. It emphasizes the challenging situation and the need for sharp player judgment to overcome the Soviet forces, mentioning the historical context of the Soviet Army's strength and strategic depth. The Autumn Campaign scenario is revealed to be the Battle of the Bulge, or Ardennes counteroffensive, a large-scale German counterattack on the Western Front. It highlights the use of powerful German tanks and air power in this desperate attempt to turn the tide of the war, posing the question of whether Germany can still achieve victory. This page delves into the Italian fleet within Advanced World War, Last of the Millennium, focusing on the Mediterranean Sea scenario. It highlights the Italian Navy's role in controlling the Mediterranean, emphasizing overcoming resource and training issues historically faced by the Italian fleet. The game presents the Italian fleet as a formidable naval force, tasked with challenging superior British naval power and reaching Africa. The page introduces key Italian warships like the Alessandria-class and Littorio-class battleships, boasting about their powerful weaponry. It also touches on game system useful information, specifically about items and badges awarded in campaign mode as military honors, showcasing an example of a decorated commander. The page further details bomber aircraft customization, explaining various bomb types, like 250 kilograms and 500 kilograms bombs, for different attack scenarios, including city bombing and surprise attacks. It mentions that night bombing is possible, but daytime bombing with FRW is less effective. Finally, a weapon diagram book section is shown, which is part of a larger guide that covers weapons from 18 countries involved in World War II, including Axis and Allied powers like Germany, USA, UK, and Italy. It mentions that the guide aims to provide a detailed overview of the weaponry used in the European theater of the war. This page showcases the horse racing simulation game, Classic Road. It's framed as a gameplay replay, where the player is aiming to finally win a Grade 1 or GI race. The page introduces the game and highlights a particular horse named Naralsafuyuichan, detailing its profile and stats. We see information about its debut race, which was a resounding 9-length victory, and then a subsequent race, the Hanshin Sansai Himba Stakes, another GI race which it also won, although unexpectedly, and by a smaller margin of 3 lengths. The page also briefly explains what kind of game Classic Road is, mentioning it's a serious horse racing simulation game for PC and PlayStation, now appearing on Saturn. It emphasizes its realism, allowing players to experience horse racing over 10 years of in-game time, with play sessions lasting around 23 hours, making it easy to enjoy for horse racing fans. This page continues the feature on Classic Road, the horse racing simulation game. It follows on from the previous page where the player was aiming for a Grade 1 victory. Here, the focus is on aiming for the Sakura Basho, which is the Cherry Blossom Prize, and then the Oaks Race. The page presents a gameplay replay, with dialogue discussing classic races and how to enter them, highlighting that trial races like the Cherry Blossom Trial and Tulip Shoe are important qualifiers. We see screenshots of the Sakura Basho race, where the player's horse, Naralsafuyui-chan, achieves victory, coming in 3rd place. The feature then shifts to discussing the upcoming Oaks race and Naralsafuyui-chan's potential. There's talk about race distances and the horse's suitability for longer races, like the 2,400 meters Oaks, compared to the 1,600 meters Sakura Basho. It's mentioned that this Sakura Basho victory is Naralsafuyui-chan's 11th win. Towards the bottom, a reflection meeting section discusses race outcomes and training strategies, mentioning elements like rider skill and training methods. Finally, there's a preview for the next issue, hinting at content including developer interviews and further discussion about the game under the title, Blood-Stained Seraphim Part 2. This page is all about J.League Victory Goal 97 for the Sega Saturn, highlighting that the game is nearing completion and will feature all 17 teams from the J.League. It's introducing each team with details about their playstyle, key players, and recommended game settings for tactics, defense, and system formations. For example, Kashima Antlers is mentioned as having Bismarck and Jorginho, and their system is 442 DV. Jeff United Ichihara talks about their ace striker and foreign players. Urakawa Red Diamonds focuses on their speed and balance. Kashiwa Reysol talks about Antonio Carlos and Edelson. Verdi Kawasaki mentions players moved from Flugels and Jubilo. Yokohama Marinos and Yokohama Flugels are also briefly described. There's a 100% completion note with comments from the developers about the game being finished, urging players to listen carefully to the in-game commentary from Mr. Kimura and Mr. Girolamo, and to enjoy the stadium atmosphere even with commentary turned off. The game is set to release on March 14th for 5,800 yen and is recommended for sports and Alajas players. This page continues the breakdown of teams in J-League Victory Goal 97. Starting with Belmare Hiratsuka, the focus is on their dynamic foreign players Claudio and Lopes in attack, while defensively they rely on goalkeeper Kojima. For Shimizu Spulse, Nagai and Oliver are highlighted, and their playstyle is described as balanced, using a 451 system. Jubilo Iwata boasts a strong lineup, including Nakayama, Skillaci, Dunga, Hattori, and Takeda, emphasizing their attacking prowess. Nagoya Grampus 8, featuring Ogura and Stojkovic, are noted for their strong kicking ability and balanced defense. Kyoto Purple Sanga is presented as aiming to improve on last year's results, focusing on offensive play with their 97-player abilities. Gamba Osaka emphasizes midfield control, with players like Mladenovic, Krupny, Matsunami, Morioka, and Iki, aiming to aggressively attack the opponent's goal. Cerezo Osaka, with Korean national Ko Jeongwon and his combo, prioritize scoring with their forwards and employ a solid defensive strategy. Vissel Kobe, new to the J.League, are described as having good individual player abilities, especially around Azuma, Naito, and Jun, and they utilize Regal's combo for a strong midfield and forward line. Sanfrecce Hiroshima is highlighted as having strong offense and defense, but struggles with consistency, posing the question of whether they can overcome these issues. Finally, Avispa Fukuoka, similar to Sanga in their recent J.League entry, focus on player abilities, solid defense, and the combination of Basques and Mori. This page introduces Mobile Suit Z Gundam for the Saturn, subtitled Zeta's Advance. It highlights the game being around 50% complete and aiming for a March 28th release by Bandai. It's described as an action shooting game for one player. The page shows off in-game screenshots and explains key gameplay mechanics. The AB button is for locking onto enemies, indicated by a mark. The A button triggers a new pre-type attack after locking on, with the number of lock-ons affecting the attack level. The game is set in space and allows for 360-degree movement, emphasizing exciting battles against enemies appearing from all directions. Stage 3, Side 1 Escape, is detailed, focusing on the character Camille, who is praised for his fighting ability, but still inexperienced. The story involves the Argama, reaching Colony Side 1, known for the Titan's 30-punch incident. The screenshots show encounters with characters like Layla, and the narrative suggests Camille confronts the reality of war and the Titan's actions. A reviewer's comment is included, mentioning feeling nostalgic and enjoying the revival of anime-based games. They express excitement for Zeta Gundam and wish for it to be as engaging as Mobile Suit Gundam ZZ. Mobile Suit Z Gundam Zeta's Advance, Stage 4, Atmospheric Entry, depicts the Argama's battle against Sirocco's forces. The Argama, now under Captain Bright Noah, is en route to Jaburo. Gameplay showcases the Masala mobile suit and Sirocco's cunning new Burka-type abilities in space combat. Stage 5, Shaburo's Lair, follows the Argama's arrival. Camille pilots the Quafer, encountering Xeon remnants rather than Titan's forces inside Jaburo's underground base. The gameplay features battles against Gelgoog, Marasai, and Hyzak mobile suits. The review also mentions cutscene production. These cutscenes, exemplified in Stage 6, Shuttle Launch, enhance dialogues with characters like Murasame, Sirocco, and Camille, adding drama and excitement to the game. This section covers the mid-stage gameplay of Assault Suit Lanos 2, Target Earth 2. Mission 4 is an escort mission focusing on protecting a supply convoy using weapons like the GGMSLPR. Prioritize the tanks. Their destruction results in game over. Watch out for Zako enemies, vulnerable to auto-aiming weapons. Mission 5 involves reaching a strategic point, using LGG long-range A-type. Effective booster management and heat control are key due to time constraints. Expect smaller enemies, alongside bosses like GG and IKA types, and the challenging Lasbos enemies. The People file introduces characters: Erwin Dennis Jr., a recurring figure becoming more important to the plot, and Karen, the skilled female pilot of the Zenith Federation's Suzumebachi Hornet mobile weapon. Assault Suit Lanos 2 features a variety of weapons, categorized for strategic use. Defensive options include shields for general protection and screens for full-body defense, consuming energy. Multi-hit weapons like machine guns and Gatling guns offer rapid or continuous fire. Single-hit weapons consist of rifles for precision and shotguns for close-range power. Energy weapons, such as laser rifles, use energy instead of reloading, offering high damage. Blast and chase weapons include powerful missiles. Special weapons offer punch for melee, napalm for area damage, bazookas for heavy hits, and the mysterious but strong Riv-4. The Battle Mines section encourages replayability to improve scores, discover secrets, and master enemy patterns and weapon effectiveness, enhancing the game's depth and enjoyment. This page is all about Dragon Master Silk, and it looks like an early preview of the game. It starts by giving us a glimpse into the story's opening, where, after relaxing in a hot spring, the heroines are suddenly confronted by a demon lord. The game is set to be released on March 28th by Datum Polystar and is priced at 6,800 yen. The developers mention it's a long-awaited title, and they are introducing the initial parts of the game here, also mentioning some bonus stickers are included with initial copies. The page then dives into a digest introduction of the early game, emphasizing that while it might seem like a typical Demon Lord slaying story, Dragon Silk has its own unique twists. It highlights the charming female characters that appear in the game. Moving on to Area 1, Alicorn Lift. It seems to be the first dungeon area. The text advises players to learn various tricks and gimmicks within the dungeons, suggesting thorough exploration. There's a section on obstacle terrain, showing a screenshot of gameplay. Finally, there's a Silk World basic knowledge section, explaining that items are hidden within walls that look like faces. It introduces different item cards like herb for HP recovery, apple for MP recovery, dynamite for damage, key cards, warp mirrors, and magic balls, giving players a basic understanding of the game's mechanics right from the start. Dragon Master Silk's preview teases deeper dungeon exploration and story elements. Players will delve into B2Fs, facing the Demon Lord's underling, and navigating traps. A familiar silhouette appears, possibly hinting at the return of Lady, now knowing Lady seeking revenge. Gameplay includes branching paths with choices impacting the adventure. B3F introduces a unique mechanic, Koko signboards that revive enemies, hinting at a quirky game world. The preview suggests a hidden truth tied to these signboards, promising a deeper story beyond the initial battles. The page ends with a cliffhanger, promising more details in future installments. This page is dedicated to the RPG and Earth Fantasy Stories, the first volume. The headline boasts it's for those bored with typical RPGs. The page highlights a 95% completion rate, suggesting it's a preview. A message from the developer emphasizes the grand world and story, aiming for a true RPG experience and hoping players will enjoy the RPG elements they've crafted, even down to the novel-like writing. The page then details key features. Firstly, the story changes depending on your upbringing. The protagonist is described as an abandoned child left at a church on Christmas Eve. The story and even companions encountered will change based on who raises this child from 4 different groups of men and women, emphasizing player choice and influence on the narrative. Next, annoying weak enemy encounters are gone. The game aims to eliminate tedious random encounters common in RPGs. Enemies are placed strategically, in dungeons and on the map. Battles are initiated by touching enemies, shown with screenshots. The combat system is described as similar to typical RPGs with command input. Finally, party members change depending on the protagonist's class. The initial class chosen by the player impacts which characters will become allies. 4 characters are introduced. Olga, a sword-wielding son of a merchant. Narsha, a magic user from a magical academy. Vestral, a devout priestess skilled in healing and magic. And Kashim, a son of a famous warrior who opposes his father. An Earth Fantasy Stories offers an immersive RPG experience with interactive environments, allowing players to examine nearly everything. Exploration is key, as items are hidden throughout dungeons, which contain switches and secrets. Travel is facilitated by a map system, enabling quick movement between locations, though story progression may restrict access to certain areas. The game's creator, Jun 2, aimed to deliver a complete RPG experience. He highlights the strategic battle system as a key feature and emphasizes the importance of the scenario, especially the enhancements made to the P-Engine era content. He hopes players will enjoy the game and welcomes their feedback. Additionally, an advertisement for the Enos fantasy story novel, a literary adaptation of the game, is presented, scheduled for release in early March. Eberouge, a popular PC racing simulation game, is coming to consoles. Players assume the role of a creation magic user at Trifeld's Academy, aiming to overcome a crisis in Werland. The game blends racing simulation with romance, allowing players to build relationships with classmates and potentially find love. Gameplay revolves around scheduling weekly activities like martial arts and magic training to improve various parameters. These choices affect the player character and interactions with classmates, creating a dynamic school life. Players can develop friendships and rivalries, and the game emphasizes strategic planning based on parameter changes and character reactions. The development is ongoing, currently at 65% completion. The developer, Takara, is committed to a high-quality port, hoping to deliver an engaging experience adapted from the successful PC version, and welcomes player feedback. This page details Fujitsu's SEGA Saturn port of Eberouge, a character-driven racing simulation game originally popular on PC. The interview with Yoichi Rokukawa of Fujitsu highlights the game's focus on raising the protagonist and fostering romantic relationships with classmates. The Saturn version aims to balance the racing simulation with its romance elements, spanning the protagonist's life from ages 9 to 18. Rokukawa emphasizes the game's deep world and story, and the potential for future expansions. He confirms the Saturn version will feature improved graphics and voice acting. The page also emphasizes the importance of classmate interaction, with screenshots showcasing dialogue in various locations. Building relationships through school activities unlocks secrets and enhances gameplay. Key characters Lucian and Noish are introduced, hinting at the importance of these relationships. This page is all about the character design for a new puzzle game called Ochiji Designer Tsukute Pond. It announces that the name of the main girl character has been decided as Elfha. The game is described as a super-class falling game mania that lets you freely construct your own falling puzzle. The text details how they had a contest to name the character and received tons of suggestions. They mention that the game is being developed by people who are well known in the industry and focuses on character design by Takami, aka. The game seems to have been in development for a while, with the initial announcement around December 27th of the previous year. The character designer, Takami AKI, gives a comment saying that the game is about falling games, and that the name Elfha was chosen to fit the image and sound of the game. They also mention that the game features a variety of ideas, and that the development team is striving for both visual appeal and gameplay depth. There's a small section asking questions to readers, like, what size are the blocks?
It seems like they are trying to engage the audience and build hype for the game. Overall, it's a page dedicated to introducing the main character of this new puzzle game
and highlighting the character design aspect. This page continues with more details about SEGA Designer. It's described as being in the development progress report phase and focuses on the detailed menu settings available in the game. You can set up various aspects like field configurations and animation patterns for blocks when they disappear. The page then moves on to the basic editor, which seems to be a core part of the game, allowing players to edit usable elements. They mention 3 main menu types, and that even players who aren't good at action games can easily create games. It also highlights the field type, which can be freely set, showing examples of different field designs. Next, it talks about enemy character creation, emphasizing that you can even create your own enemy characters. The graphics for enemy characters can be up to 48 by 48 dots, and they are providing samples of monster designs, including classic monster types. Finally, the page discusses block erasing rules and pattern submissions. It seems they are still collecting ideas for block erasing rules and designs from readers. They show examples of block erasing animations and are asking for new and unique ideas for block designs, mentioning a size of 16 by 16 dots for submitted designs. Game Paradise, a new shooting game from Jaleco for the SEGA Saturn, is highlighted. The game boasts new features to excite fans, including 3 original theme songs with vocal performances used throughout the game. Voice acting is expanded, replacing arcade voice clips and enhancing the time attack mode. 2 game modes are available: Arcade Mode, a complete 2-player port of the arcade version, and Arrange Mode, a Saturn-exclusive mode, adding new characters Miki and Sasa, and stages like Karaoke World. A limited Gokuraku Pack Edition includes around 15 minutes of exclusive original anime video content. Character introductions include Yuki Ito, the arcade attendant, voiced by Kumiko Nishihara, and Genius Yamada, seemingly scheming world domination, voiced by Shigeru Chiba, plus assistants Nakamura and Kato. This page introduces the parody-filled stages of Jaleco's new SEGA Saturn shooting game, Game Paradise. It highlights the first 4 stages of the game, each with a unique theme. Stage 1 is Game Center World, a familiar setting where you battle through a game center filled with nostalgic arcade cabinets that actually move in the background. Stage 2 is Crane World, set inside a crane game with cute, toy-like enemies and sound effects like Cupine and Dokain, adding to the playful atmosphere. Stage 3, Shooting World, takes a surprising turn to a more serious tone, featuring giant mecha enemies.
It even shows a combination scene for a powerful robot form.
Finally, Stage 4 is Karaoke World, starring the character Misato. Here, you fight amidst karaoke equipment while Misato sings along to the background music. The page also teases the exclusive original anime video content included in the limited Gokuraku Pack Edition. It hints at a story where arcade attendant Yuki and a girl named Momoko get caught up in game world events.
Screenshots from the video showcase mecha action and character interactions, including a peculiar pig character called Mikan, who doesn't talk much but apparently has a surprising background.
This page spotlights the upcoming SEGA Saturn title, Tokyo Shadow. Described as an occult-themed multi-ending adventure game set in Tokyo's Shibuya district, it's from West Village, known for the Megami Tensei series. While fictional, it's said to be rooted in historical fact and truth. The game's premise revolves around rescuing a lover kidnapped and taken beneath Shibuya. You play as an ordinary young man who gets caught up in a strange incident, finding his girlfriend, Kyoko Takarada, has been spirited away by otherworldly beings to the underground. You must navigate a vast underground labyrinth to rescue her, confront monsters, and uncover the truth behind the events. The heroine is Kyoko Takarada, portrayed by Mai Takarada. She's described as a detective from a prominent family, exceptionally brave even when facing zombies. She's also revealed to be the daughter of a shaman family from Shibuya, possessing strong spiritual powers.
The page hints at other women involved in the story besides Kyoko.
A key feature highlighted is the branching narrative. boasting 48 different story paths. The game uses a chapter map and multiple episodes, allowing players to make choices that significantly impact the story and ending. The reviewer emphasizes the replayability and exploration of different story branches to achieve 100% completion. The page concludes by teasing the player's choices, emphasizing that it's up to you to decide who to trust, friend or foe. It shows screenshots of potentially important characters, hinting at complex relationships and decisions that will shape the story. This page is the start of the SEGA Saturn Complete Soft Guide section, designed to thoroughly guide players through Saturn software that's already been released. It mentions that the guide is perfect for players who are stuck in a game or want to enjoy them even more on a replay. Games highlighted in this section include Enemy Zero, which starts on page 142, and Dyna Island on page 144. The page also features a fun illustration with anime-style girls and cute cartoon creatures. This is a walkthrough or guide for the SEGA Saturn game Enemy Zero, specifically focusing on the later stages. The guide, titled Kimberly Hard and the Second Farewell, helps players reach the ending. It details navigating the final areas after defeating a major enemy, including a shooting deck that requires players to use the in-game map and feel their way along the left wall. The guide covers specific locations like Winter Tower B1, showcasing a map labeled #1751 Winter, with rooms like Parker Room and Power Room that includes screenshots of these locations. The guide also discusses the final encounter, focusing on Kimberly's actions and the whereabouts of the enemy. It advises players to follow Kimberly to Parker's room, where familiar, non-boss enemies await. This walkthrough section for Enemy Zero, Kimberly Hard and the Second Farewell, focuses on a somber period after Parker's death and guides players through the game's mechanics. The guide highlights the emotional weight of the section before transitioning into gameplay tips for the Winter Tower Small Ship Corridor. It warns against over-reliance on the Visual Positioning System, VPS, due to battery drain, emphasizing resource management for later encounters. The walkthrough then offers an alternative strategy, avoiding combat entirely. Players are encouraged to follow Devitt's instructions and retreat when he warns of approaching enemies. This approach suggests that escaping the ship, rather than fighting, is the primary goal, emphasizing the importance of Devitt's guidance for successful navigation and ultimate escape. This page covers the game Dear Airland, focusing on a quest to find the singing dinosaur egg, with the main character Emiri and her friends. It's a walkthrough guide divided into sections based on different locations: heading to the sea, 1 arc, heading to the forest arc, heading to the mountain arc, and heading to the lake arc. The guide suggests that the game involves exploration and dialogue, with player choices influencing the story's direction and the next location to visit. In the sea section, they try fishing for the egg but fail, and the next destination is hinted as either the jungle or the lake. In the forest section, they arrive to find other students have already taken eggs, and the next choice leads to either the lake or the sea. The mountain section mentions a wise old man they encounter. Finally, in the lake section, they use a boat to search for the egg on a central island, but face dangers in the lake. The walkthrough emphasizes decision-making throughout the game, and hints at different routes and outcomes depending on player choices. The overall impression is of a charming adventure game with multiple paths and a focus on exploration and character interaction as Emiri and her friends search for this mysterious, singing dinosaur egg. This page continues the walkthrough for Dear Airland. In the Heading to the Sea 2 arc section, after going to another location and returning to the sea, the story unfolds differently. The beach is described as resort-like and peaceful, contrasting with the idea that dinosaurs might appear. Terry-kun guides 2 people to a cave near the beach, where they encounter a sleeping dinosaur egg. Elder Taro appears and provides a treasure map, which leads to a treasure hunt. The text asks where this egg hunt will lead. The Heading to the Jungle arc section begins with the group heading to the jungle and ending up in a desolate rocky area instead. They discover ancient ruins and consider if monsters will appear. While discussing this, they realize someone is approaching. The text questions if they will be able to identify the approaching figure and escape if necessary. The This Time's Eye Catch section shows various in-game scenes, including character close-ups and beach and jungle environments. Finally, at the bottom, there's game information, indicating that Dear Airland is a sound adventure game. It lists the voice cast and the jacket illustration artist as Takeo Izumi.
It mentions a bonus track of Omake CM Collection and promotes buying the game at CD shops. The game's release information includes the product code POCX1065, a price of 2,800 yen, tax included, and contact details for Polydor KK and Image Media GS project. This page is all about the final chapter in the Pip-Boy series, titled Pip-Boy's Great Adventure 4, Last Great Demon King Appears. It's highlighted as a vertical scrolling action game, a change from previous entries. The story revolves around rescuing the princess, who has been kidnapped by a demon, similar to the third game in the series where jewels were involved. This time, as Pip-Boy, you're diving into vertical scrolling stages filled with enemies and traps. The gameplay mechanics include dashing and jumping to navigate the stages, and the game emphasizes strategic attacks to conserve your power gauge. The game features a total of 6 stages. The article also mentions dramatic openings and demo scenes from previous games in the series, hinting at a well-developed narrative. They also point out that the ending movie is worth seeing. The stage design is described as being set in reverse space, borrowing elements from games like Dragon Spirit for stage construction and Arresta for graphics. Each stage is promised to have unique gimmicks. Screenshots showcasing various stages from 1 to 6 are included to give a visual idea of the game's environments. Finally, there's a section called Pip-Boy's Talk, where the reviewer, DJ Namo, seems to be discussing Pip-Boy's character, describing him as hot-blooded and straightforward. This Information Corner previews upcoming SEGA Saturn movie and game content. The movie section lists 58 cataloged movies, with trailers accessible via a play icon. The game section highlights several games with movie demos, including Mr. Bones, Kukyoku Tiger 2 Plus, Galaxy Force 2, and Wonder 3 arcade gears. Menu screens for Captain Tsubasa J, Get in the Tomorrow, and Egion are revealed just before release, with content split across Disc A, game content, Saturn software experience, and Disc B, Boys and Girls Collection movie content. The GW staff column discusses the differences between theatrical and home console trailers. Finally, Nemo's talk mentions gathering gamer data and considering related content creation. SNK announced its Live Tour 97, hitting several Japanese cities in March, including Osaka, Tokyo, Sendai, Fukuoka, and Nagoya. The tour promises live stages, tournaments focused on Samurai Showdown RPG, voice actor appearances, cosplay contests, and new game information. The page also reports on the AOU show, featuring the Neo Geo 64 and its enhanced polygon graphics showcased in games like Samurai Spirits and Fatal Fury. Game demos included Real Bout Fatal Fury Special and other titles across various genres. Additionally, the page includes a KOF 97 character popularity poll and a This Month's KO.I section displaying fan art. Fan letters and the upcoming theme of spring are also discussed. This page is a detailed character strategy guide for Yuri Sakazaki from King of Fighters 96. It highlights Yuri's unique fighting style, emphasizing her ability to cancel normal moves into special moves for aggressive offense. The guide points out her jump attacks and crouching kicks as effective starting points for combos. It breaks down her basic attack patterns, explaining how to use jump-in strong kicks and crouching strong kicks to initiate offense and control the opponent. The guide then goes into her recommended continuous techniques, showcasing combos like the Tiger Flame Kick and Thunder Kick to be used in various situations. Furthermore, it details strategies when facing a guarding opponent, recommending throws and mix-ups after forcing a guard with moves like the 100 Blows Fist. The page then outlines a flowchart for upper body attack patterns, showing how to break guards and follow up with throws or mix-ups. Finally, it gives examples of combo techniques that can be used starting from upper body attack patterns, including a crouching weak punch into the strong 100 Blows Fist. Essentially, this page is a mini masterclass on how to play Yuri in KOF 96, focusing on her aggressive rushdown style and combo potential. This page is a character strategy guide focusing on Kyo Kusanagi in King of Fighters 96, and it's volume 5 of a character strategy series. The guide highlights Kyo as an easy-to-use character, with powerful rushdown capabilities, thanks to his special moves like Aragami, Dokugami, and Oniaki. It emphasizes using these moves effectively both at mid and close ranges,
making him strong in offense and defense. The page breaks down Kyo's basic attack patterns, recommending approaches with jump attacks and standing strong attacks. It then lists several combo examples, including variations of origami, kugaki, and nanes. The guide further advises on strategies after landing origami, suggesting follow-ups like dokugami or kugaki for continued pressure and damage. For controlling space and opponents, it recommends using the oniaki move, noting its effectiveness in both offense and defense, particularly against jump attacks. The guide also touches on anti-air tactics, again recommending the oniaki move as a solid option to counter airborne opponents. Finally, the page points out that combos are even more effective when near the corner of the screen, highlighting a powerful combo string involving jump attacks, standing attacks, cancel moves, and special moves, ultimately leading into aerial throws. Overall, this guide provides a solid overview of Kyo's strengths and basic strategies for players looking to master him in KOF 96. This page celebrates Sakura Wars, winning a whopping 6 awards at the Satamaga Grand Prix Awards. It's titled, Sakura Wars Sweeps 6 Categories, and even Prince Charming is overjoyed at the awards. The page lists the award categories Sakura Wars won, including the Best Award, Adventure Award, Production Award, Package Art Award, Scenario Award, and Best Supporting Actress Award. The article mentions that even though it was a normal workday at Red Company when the trophies arrived, the editors were ecstatic and gathered everyone, including Prince Charming himself, likely referring to a key figure in development, possibly Oji Hiroi, for a celebratory photo shoot. There are screenshots showcasing the game's art style and gameplay, including character portraits and strategy map scenes. The page also highlights the success of Sakura Wars, attributing it to the collaboration of famous creators under the leadership of general producer Oji Hiroi. Key staff mentioned include scenario writer Satoru Akahori, composer Kohei Tanaka, character designer Hidenori Matsubara, and art director Kazuyuki Fujita, among other talented professionals. The article notes the game was released 5 months prior, and its popularity remains unstoppable. The page is filled with photos of the Red Company staff, including Kitaro, Kaneko, and Morita, all beaming and holding their trophies, clearly very happy about the recognition. The overall tone is jubilant and celebratory, emphasizing the huge success and popularity of Sakura Wars. At Wonder Festival, the Virtual On booth impressed a Sentinel modeler who jokingly calls himself Iron Man Ozaki. The event, a hub for garage kits and figures, showcased a vibrant scene. Despite copyright regulations, the passion for creations was palpable, with classic and retro robots thriving alongside popular trends. Ozaki observed the Virtual On scene, noting the appeal of the designs, including SD and Banpresto-style figures, to both men and women. The article mentions on-site figure painting demonstrations. Ozaki purchased Iron Man Ozaki items, highlighting the work of Watatsumi for their authentic Virtual On garage kits. Images showed attendees, including a cosplayer. The page concluded with descriptions of various model kits and figures, showcasing different makers and emphasizing linkage mechanisms and movable types. Overall, the page conveys a positive impression of the event. This page reports on voice actress Tomoko Kaneda's appearance at Wonder Festival. She is described as invading the event, bringing anime voice energy to the venue. Tomoko Kaneda, known for voicing Fei Yen in Virtual On, is pictured at the event, interacting with fans and showcasing figures. The article highlights her cheerful and energetic personality, noting her background as a voice actress in anime and musical genres since she was 16, and her connection with SEGA for CD introductions. It also mentions the Fei Yen enhancement project she's involved in. The page then introduces Virtual On Ver Cybernet Lapunti, describing Fei Yen's voice as the game's original sound weapon, and calling the game a hard drug for robot mania. It emphasizes the game's hardcore nature, appealing to robot enthusiasts. Details are provided including the release information from Toshiba Emi, price, and creator credits for music and voice acting, which include Tomoko Kaneda herself, Mitsuo Iwata, and Yuji Ueda. Finally, there's a review section titled Stone Tablet 3000 Worlds, discussing Virtual On in the context of SF fandom and robot mania. The reviewer talks about the appeal of Virtual On to SF fans and the enduring concept of robot mania, suggesting its continuing popularity and mentioning a robot mania reinforcement plan is already underway. This page is all about SEGA AM3 Research Institute and their new game, Rush! It's volume 17 of the RAS Pro Illustration Corner, where they are showcasing fan art submissions based on a free theme. There are 4 examples of fan art featured, each with a pen name. PN, Yellow Pepper, Page N, Chestnut Mochi, Page N, Reed Swamp, and PN Muku's Cupio. Then there's a feature on Popular D. Jalan J. SEGA AM number 3 appears. Chapter of Role. It seems like this DJ Alan J. visited SEGA AM3 on February 11th and is being interviewed. He talks about being impressed with AM3's work and mentions being immersed in a California dreaming atmosphere while at AM3. He mentions music from artists like the Beach Boys and Mama and Papas, and a feeling of Californian blue skies, suggesting the game might have a Californian theme. There's a screenshot of what looks like the arcade game Top Skater shown as well, possibly hinting at a new skateboarding game from AM3. The page ends by asking if this new AM3 game is a skateboard game, and mentions more details are coming next time. This page showcases the arcade game The House of the Dead, presented by AM1. It's a horror-themed shooting game with the tagline, "Don't go in the house alone." The page highlights it's a SEGA M1 Research Institute development and announces its release in spring '97 at amusement spots nationwide. The text describes the game as a zombie shooting action title, where players investigate mysterious cases and battle biohazardous zombies using the SEGA M1 Model 2 board. There are images of gruesome zombies and a terrified woman, along with in-game screenshots and character portraits to emphasize the horror elements. At the bottom it mentions AM1 Research Dynamite. It seems SEGA is expanding its game offerings beyond the AM3 hinted skateboarding game from the previous page, with this new horror title from AM1. This page is all about the arcade game, The House of the Dead, from SEGA AM1. They are calling it a dynamite hit. It's described as a 3D gun shooting game using the Model 2 board. The text highlights the horror aspect, saying it's a zombie shooting action game where you investigate a mysterious case involving biohazardous zombies. It's being pitched as a step up from AM2's Virtua Cop series in terms of gun shooting action, but with a strong horror theme. The page shows gruesome zombies and a terrified-looking woman to really emphasize the horror elements. There are also in-game screenshots showing the shooting action and the user interface. It introduces the main characters as special agents, Tom, Rogan, and Deg, who are investigators sent to a mansion to uncover a mystery. The story setup is about researchers at DBR Corp disappearing, and Dr. Curian, the head of DBR, is also involved. The text emphasizes the cinematic story and presentation, encouraging players to pay attention to the unfolding events within the game. Essentially, it's hyping up The House of the Dead as a thrilling and scary zombie shooter from SEGA's AM1 team. This page continues to showcase the arcade game The House of the Dead, highlighting the dynamic routes that change based on player actions, a departure from typical on-rail shooters. It mentions that player choices directly influence the game's path, making each playthrough potentially unique and encouraging replayability. We're introduced to Special Agent Beg, one of the main characters, alongside in-game screenshots depicting scenarios. These scenarios include pursuing evil creatures, rescuing the tormented researchers, and the consequences of failure, death, versus success, life up. The descriptions talk about zombies, scientists, and the branching narrative. The page also mentions the game's public debut at the AOU show, emphasizing the enthusiastic reception and large crowds. It notes that the version shown at the show used light guns similar to Virtua Cop, and that the final specifications were still being decided at the time. The text also mentions that the blood splatter in the game was changed to green for overseas markets, indicating an awareness of international audiences. The large text at the bottom of the page dramatically reads, "From the depths, the screams of the dead echo," further emphasizing the horror theme. This page is all about SEGA Ski Super Gig, a thrilling arcade game. The page acts like a course guide for the most difficult course in the game, and aims to help players dominate the world of high-speed skiing. It breaks down the course into 7 key sections, offering advice for each. Section 1 advises players to avoid crashing into the rock face, suggesting careful steering and anticipating the large jump ahead. Section 2 focuses on navigating the gate mid-jump, emphasizing the importance of adjusting position in the air to pass through the flags. Section 3 warns about post-jump crashes, highlighting a tricky curve after landing and advising players to be cautious of wipeouts. Section 4 recommends using outside edges to make smaller turns, suggesting this technique for a specific tight curve. Section 5 encourages players to carefully observe the malicious trees to avoid them, suggesting weaving through them by shifting left and right. Section 6 is about navigating a tunnel, advising players to stay right initially, then move left to pass through the gate once they see the exit. Finally, Section 7 talks about finishing with a big jump, stating that the final jump is crucial for a good score and advises players to aim for the center of the course. The page is packed with in-game screenshots illustrating each tip and section of the course, providing a visual guide to mastering this challenging track in SEGA Ski Super Gig. This page is from the AM2 Research Department section, volume 42 of Express Weekly, and it's all about the AOU show report. It seems to be highlighting two big games from AM2, Virtua Striker 2 and Scud Race Twin, which are both announced as major new titles. The page gives a report from the show and a behind-the-scenes look at the Scud Race official guidebook. For Virtua Striker 2, they talk about how well it was received at the show, mentioning it was almost finished and playable. Someone involved in the game talks about player reactions and feeling confident about how it's shaping up. For Scud Race Twin, developers are interviewed and they discuss the game's development, aiming for a realistic driving experience and the excitement of the twin cabinet head-to-head racing. The page uses screenshots and photos to show off the games and the people being interviewed, capturing the buzz around these new arcade titles from AM2 at the AOU show. This page is from the AM2 Research Department section and continues on from the AOU show report. It's focused on the Scud Race official guidebook that's being released. There's an interview with Super Advisor Yamaguchi Masami and, Maeda from AM2 Research about the guidebook's creation. Yamaguchi explains that he used to be the editor-in-chief of a motorsports magazine, so he was brought in to ensure the guidebook was accurate and captured the true spirit of racing, avoiding any misleading information. He mentions wanting to convey the real feeling of racing to the users, and that the guidebook is officially endorsed. Maeda talks about the concept of the guidebook, aiming for it to be a game guide that is also enjoyable to read, like a pamphlet or movie booklet, focusing on the visual aspects of the game. The bottom section highlights the visuals of Scud Race, stating that it uses high-end CG and was created on a Mac. It mentions that the game uses various camera angles not normally seen in games, capturing dynamic viewpoints during races, similar to real race photography. The screenshots showcase the impressive graphics of Scud Race, emphasizing the dynamic camera work. This page continues the discussion about the Scud Race official guidebook. Maeda and Yamaguchi from AM2 Research talk about its creation, aiming to make it more than just a typical game guide. Yamaguchi, with his motorsports magazine background, emphasized the need for accuracy and capturing the true feeling of racing, focusing on detailed visual requests like polygon rendering and horizon lines. He wanted to avoid misleading information and ensure the guidebook conveyed the real spirit of racing. Maeda envisioned it as a visually appealing pamphlet or movie booklet, enjoyable even for those not deeply into racing games. He wanted it to be accessible to a wider audience, not just hardcore fans, and serve as a record of AM2's work. Yamaguchi initially felt game guides were often dull, so they aimed to create something that truly captured the essence of racing, focusing on the excitement of speed and sound. The guidebook highlights the impressive visuals of Scud Race, created with high-end CG on a Mac, showcasing dynamic camera angles and detailed graphics, similar to real race photography. Nagoshi is also quoted, praising the game's expressive visuals and how the guidebook effectively communicates the game's appeal and pushes visual boundaries. The page emphasizes that this guidebook is something car enthusiasts and general readers will find interesting, showcasing the visual and immersive aspects of Scud Race beyond just gameplay tips. This SEGA Saturn soft review covers games from February 29th to March 7th. Reviews come from the Lady Users Group, Game Mania Group, Hyper Rollers, and guest game writers. The Lady Users Group enjoyed an RPG for its cuteness and accessibility. The Hyper Rollers reviewed a violent action game, likely an arcade port, highlighting its intense battles. Guest writers recommended Langrisser, Photocan CD version, praising its quality and cover art. Individual game scores are provided. Continuing Gusun o Oyo 7.0, a puzzle game with action, and Firepower Full Throttle Hot Battle 7, an action-oriented puzzle game, are both considered upgrades with fun multiplayer modes. Collector's item, This Is It 7, A polygon model with a movie package feel is recommended. Things I'm concerned about. 8. Focuses on the battle system's progression and animation, finding it interesting. New Century Evangelion Second Impression, 7.66, is a 100% complete sample version, an improved Evangelion title. Reviews for Sega Saturn games released around March 7th vary widely. Henry Explorers, 7/10, from the Lady users, was praised for its horror atmosphere. Planet Joker, 4/10, by the Hyperrollers, was considered generic. Guest writers gave mixed scores. One arcade port, 3/10, felt dated. Simple and Easy Shooting, 4/10, offered repetitive fun, and 1.5D Shooting, 3/10, provided exciting shooting. Old Zaku also appears, 7/10, highlighted a Gundam title's action-canceling system and engaging gameplay. Evaluation aiming for all A today as well, 6/10, lauded an original anime series game's storytelling and well-executed gameplay. As expected, main character comes out as different, right? 8/10, reviewed Mobile Suit Gundam Gaiden 2 I Ruler of the Battlefield, calling it a polished and engaging third entry. The next page in Sega Saturn magazine dives into cheat codes and hidden features with a section called Cheating Techniques Go! First up is Fighters Megamix. It talks about hidden adult CG that can be unlocked. Apparently, if you're skilled enough to clear the H course in 1P mode and training mode, while pressing the L button, you can unlock these secret images. Sounds like a bit of cheeky fun for dedicated players. Then there's Daytona USA Circuit Edition with 2 interesting tricks. The first one is all about changing the time of day. If you press certain button combinations while the "Gentlemen Start Your Engines" message is displayed, you can race in morning, night, sunset, or even summer settings. The other Daytona trick is the UMA command. This lets you use a hidden car. You need to input specific button combinations on the mode select screen, choosing UMAX Fursel or UMA2 YZLR. Success means you get to drive the UMA car. Finally, they're running a cheating technique big bounty competition, where readers can submit their own Sega Saturn cheat codes. Prizes include Saturn Soft and Saturn Soft 2 game cartridges, and bookstore gift vouchers for top submissions. This page delves into the relationship between games and art, specifically focusing on the unsettling topic of death. The article is titled, The Room with Corpses, and it's all about the game D, internationally known as D. The writer, who seems to be a Professor Fuse, reflects on the beauty and horror of corpses, pondering if this duality is something humans create. They share their personal experience visiting morgues during their medical student days, and then how playing D brought back those feelings. The game D is described as being set in a Los Angeles hospital after a mass murder, highlighting the disturbing imagery within the game. The article draws parallels between D's depiction of death and classical art, mentioning artists like Michelangelo and Picasso's Guernica, and the Eisenheim altarpiece by Grunwald, suggesting that even in art, death is a powerful and sometimes disturbing subject. Professor Fuse is presented at the bottom right of the page, adding a persona to the article, positioning it as an expert commentary rather than just a game review. It seems to be exploring the deeper, more unsettling aspects of D and its connection to art history. This page dives into the exciting new trend of internet television, exploring how it's creating a fresh link between the internet and traditional TV. It highlights key technologies like internet TV and text broadcasting, predicting a new era of information. The article discusses personalized news delivery systems using internet TV, mentioning services like TV Serve and screen servers. It contrasts the approaches in Japan and America, noting Japan's focus on dedicated internet TV devices and America's growing interest in web TV. Web TV networks is mentioned as a driving force in America, and the Philips Magnavox web TV device is showcased. A Japanese service called ATA MSP is also discussed. The page talks about how internet TV could potentially replace rental videos and gaming consoles for accessing video content, and how services are becoming more affordable. It mentions a web TV network service expanding in America, and Philips also releasing web TV products. The overall tone is very enthusiastic about the potential of internet TV, to revolutionize information access and entertainment. This page is all about reader prizes from SEGA Saturn magazine. It kicks off with a list of winners from the February 14th issue, recognizing a whole bunch of people from various regions who snagged prizes. It also lists the magazine staff, giving credit to everyone involved in putting it together. The main focus is on the current reader prize draw, outlining how to enter. They are giving away some cool stuff, including SEGA Saturn games for 20 lucky people. Any Saturn game released up to February 28, 1997. For fans of romance sims, there are 5 Tokimeki Memorial telephone cards up for grabs.
Music lovers can win one of 3 Candela's cases signed by Koji Hayama.
10 people can get their hands on a SEGA logo keychain that lights up. And for the ultimate anime enthusiast, there's a single signed Z Gundam artboard, signed by the voice actor of Camille Bidan, Nobuo Tobita, and the voice actor of Quattro Bagina, Shuichi Ikeda. The bottom section has some info about the next issue, mentioning that the magazine will be released on March 21st and on sale from March 7th. It also provides a phone number for inquiries related to the magazine's content. This page showcases the game Hyper Securities for the SEGA Saturn. It's from Victor Interactive Software and looks like an adventure title. The artwork features 3 anime-style women dressed in police or security guard uniforms. The game's title, Hyper Securities, is displayed prominently on the left side of the page. It definitely has a late 90s anime style and is likely a Japan-only release given the publisher and style.
It seems to be highlighting the characters from the game.
Hyper Securities is a popular game receiving positive reviews, priced at 6,800 yen, and expanding its media presence. The universe includes a novel from Wani Books, a manga adaptation in Gakken's Anime Media, a radio drama on FM Tokyo, and a drama CD from Pony Canyon. The page introduces several characters with their voice actresses: Chiaki Serizaki, Nao Takamori, Yuko Suguchi, Miyuki Sawashiro, Kiyomi Yoshida, Ayame Nasuki, Kaori Kuzukawa, Yuka Komata, Ryoko Hiramatsu, Sayaka Kanda, and Ayako Nagashima, Sayori Morinaga. Photography is by Takashi Takawa.
Gameplay features hardcore area strategy, glamorous dress-up, and thrilling card battles. A Windows 95 version is planned. Victor Interactive Software is the publisher, providing contact information.
This page is advertising Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression for the SEGA Saturn, a scenario-making adventure game priced at 6,800 yen. It highlights features like real-time polygon graphics for battles against angels, and the evolving story based on player choices. The game boasts original movie scenes and power-ups, with characters growing from larva to pupa and imago. The page mentions original characters unique to Second Impression, like the bespectacled girl in the artwork, designed by character designer Yumiko Hara. The voice actress for this character is also mentioned, being Ayako Uemura. A single CD is included with bonus tracks, featuring vocal songs by Yoko Umeno, and original karaoke tracks. Players also get an original card, and there's an EVA card collection campaign, where buying both Neon Genesis Evangelion and Second Impression can get you special original Card Das Masters cards.